Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here, and it's Thursday, and we beat the NBA champion Boston Celtics last night in Toronto on our home court. It all worked out. In some ways, some of the things I was saying yesterday did happen exactly how I thought they might. It was a trap game. The Boston Celtics have not been playing well, and the Raptors have been playing well. And that's why, when I did the matchup predictor yesterday and I said we've got a 40% chance to win or something like that, I forget, it was 20%. That can fall into that 20%. And that's what happened last night. It's an area where, in that percent of the Raptors' chance of winning, is the Raptors have to play perfect, play very, very good. And they did. And the Celtics have to be flat and have to not be playing pretty good. And they were exactly that too. And you get this result as of last night. Now, the thing is, you let us win too much, we're going to get used to it. We're going to get good at it, and we're going to perfect it more and more. That's the thing. This is the thing. Hold the Raptors down by giving them the hardest schedule at the beginning of the season. Hold the Raptors down knowing that they are a bunch of rookies and young players, and try and beat their spirits. Beat their spirits for the first 3 months of the year. Beat them down with misery and losing and just a horrible schedule. But our coach did a good job keeping everybody on task, keeping everybody focused on what matters. And we're doing so good considering that. When you go through so much losing and misery like our team has this year, it's very easy to be weak and get all feeling sorry for yourself or turn on each other, saying, oh, it's your fault, Scotty. It's your fault, RJ. No, none of that shit happening on our team. All for one for all. They love each other. They celebrate each other's victories. They're communicating openly. When bad stuff happens, are they shutting up and going in the corner and getting all like pouty? No, they're not. They're talking about what the bad stuff was, how they can avoid it, and how they can fix it and do better. And the communication stays open, honest, and accountable. And this is what you see. At a certain point last night, Alvin Williams said Dr. Naismith would be so proud of the Raptors, and he's exactly right. The Raptors played basketball last night the way basketball is intended to play. They played it as a team. They played it connected, and they played it in a way that was very, very pleasant to watch. And I love it. I love it. I don't just love it for us, as far as us getting to celebrate this, getting to feel this. I knew that we were going to beat somebody like this year. I knew we were going to beat a big team that we had no business beating, and it's going to be all right. And this was the signs that are telling us, yeah, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right, Raptors fans. You guys got to reckon with that this morning after what we saw last night. This is the thing. When you're striving for progress, you're not striving for digress or regress. No. You're striving for progress. And when you get those little steps of progress forward, sure, there's one step backwards, 2 steps forwards. But those 2 steps forwards are progress going forward. And we may not be as good as we were last night for the rest of the season. But if we go with a kind of attitude and effort that we went into the game like last night and we play our heart out and we do what we can, we're going to win way more. And we're going to win way, 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 way more in the years to come. And y'all are seeing the very early stages of the germination of a young core connecting and getting more used to each other. The synergy last night was amazing. There were silver platters all over the place. Everybody was a highfalutin waiter, maitre d', with that silver platter, just giving silver platters to each other. It's like they're all waiters and they're all customers at the restaurant. Scotty serves RJ. RJ serves Grady. Grady serves Jakob. Jakob serves Osha. They're just silver platter guys. A silver platter for you, Scott. Here you go. Here's a silver platter. Here's a silver platter for you, or Grady, as you make a brilliant cut to the basket, and RJ gets it to you pinpointed just through the defense, and boom, you have an easy, quick layup real quick. Silver platter. Silver platter. I talked about the silver platter earlier this year. It was like, because it's one thing to pass the ball to somebody in a game. Yeah, anybody can just pass the ball. Ooh, here you go. Anybody, like that. Some people throw the ball to people's feet. Here's the ball. Oh, you made me have to go down here to get it. What are you doing? Or maybe you throw it so hard it's over their head. They're like, oh, man, don't throw it so high. I'm not Andre the Giant. Come on, man. No, silver platter. It's when you know exactly where these guys want the ball. And not only that, if you're really good at silver platter, you put a couple beats into the song before the song is played by the person who takes the shot. Dribble, 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 pass to Grady. Grady, catch and shoot 3, all in the same rhythm off of RJ, who threw the ball to him, or Scotty, who threw the ball to him in a rhythm. You could give them that rhythm on the silver platter. The platter has music to it, and it could give them a rhythm to bounce into the rhythm of their shot so that they get right into it so easily and naturally. Catch it right here, Grady. And just put it up and put it in. Yeah. Silver platter, musical silver platter with the beats flowing from one Raptor into the next Raptor so that it's easy, so that it's smooth, so that it's beautiful, bellissimo, like the game that Dr. James Naismith invented. Oh, it was so beautiful to watch last night. I could tell that Coach Darko has been getting such satisfactory wins this week. He's beaten Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors on Monday, and now he's beaten Joe Mazzulla and the champion Celtics on Wednesday. He's getting these names in his cap this year. He didn't get them last year. He didn't beat any of the Masters last year, really. Very, very tough to beat them. Spoelstra, Kerr, Nurse, all lost to him this year now. And people don't say he's a bad coach. But I'm telling you, this guy's the real deal, Holyfield. And if it's not about the wins, it's about the way this team is acting off of each other. Seriously, how do you cultivate that? You think Nick Nurse could have ever gotten these vibes? You think Nick Nurse could have ever gotten this synergy, this silver platter synergy that I'm talking about right now? Maybe in little bursts here and there, but nothing like this. His instruction and his way of coaching does not cultivate this kind of vibes and this kind of energy and this kind of teamwork. It just doesn't. It was proven in 5 years of him coaching our team. So, yeah, revel in this, Raptors fans. Let's take this big W. It's a huge W. And savor it, because this year has been very difficult. And this is the stuff is why we're fans. This is the stuff why we root for our team and we love our team, because we want to see them succeed. And this is what we saw last night. So awesome. Now, when you think about us playing Milwaukee tomorrow, you think we have a better chance to beat them in Milwaukee tomorrow night now than all the times we played Milwaukee this year? They've been kind of, we've usually beat Milwaukee very well in the past, but, this year has been tough. Well, I think we could maybe get a 3-game win streak, and then, it's dinner with Darko. And what a gauntlet to go through if we got dinner with Darko, beating the Bucks on Friday night. We beat the Warriors, the Celtics, and the Bucks in the same week. If we do that, that's a really, really good dinner with Darko. There ain't no Charlotte in there. There ain't no Washington in there. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's get in the chat. We've got all the regular Raptor Freak segments as far as the classic card, the Instagram stories, and the scout of the day. And also, I got to preview the game today. There is a G League game for the Raptors 905. They're in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And they're going to be playing the Denver Nuggets G League team, the Gold, the Grand Rapids Gold. And I'm looking at their roster real quick. There's not really very many players of note on this Grand Rapids Gold team that I'm worried about. Andrew Funk is somebody I'm familiar with, a guard out of Penn State. He's a sharpshooter, maybe somebody that the 905 is going to have to keep track of tonight. PJ Hall is somebody I've heard the name before. But yeah, most of these names are not anybody. There's the other Jalen Williams. It's another Jalen Williams. I think this is like a third Jalen Williams. It's not even one of the OKC Jalen Williams. Jaylin Williams. So yeah, there's a lot of no names on this G League team that we're playing today. So hopefully the Raptors 905 can continue to strive and achieve and do very well. Of course, we found out that most of the guys went with the 905. So tonight, Joe Kobe Walter will be playing for the Raptors 905 guys. Just so you know, that's why he didn't play in the Raptors game last night, because he wasn't in Toronto. You didn't see him on the TV because he's in Grand Rapids with the 905, along with Jonathan Mobo's there too, and Lawson and Omarui also, and Shamshe. And Battle did not go with them, which was weird. It's a weird decision. Shed and Battle staying with the main club, and Battle getting in the game last night. I think that I'm getting the feeling that Jamison Battle is going to get his two ways used up before the end of the season because they don't care because they know they're going to convert him, that they are going to give him a full contract before the end of the season because he's definitely a keeper. And I think that they've also decided because them having him ready for the Celtics game last night was very interesting because in some ways, when you're going up against the Celtics right now with how much of a percentage of their shots are three-pointers right now, you need some firepower in your arsenal to come back at them with threes. And having Jamison Battle available to play for the Raptors last night was smart strategy by the front office and Darko. In some ways, it's just inevitable. This guy's tried out. He's good. He's going to be with us. So let's go ahead and burn up all of his two-way games and then convert him before the end of the season. They could do it two ways, and the other way is way more risky. And I don't think they should do it that way. I mean, if they've got the budget and they have the means to do this, Jamison Battle is a part of our future. Burn up all his two-way games because we are getting close to that. There's only just over a dozen left, and we have half a season to play now. Burn him up and convert him to a full contract. If they don't do that, what they might do is they might use up all of his two ways and then do something stupid like release him, and then he's available to somebody else, and then they grab him. No, don't do that, Masai. No. Use his games up and convert him to a full contract so that he's available, and we have him online to stay in a Raptors jersey for the years to come. Yeah, so Jamison is not at the Grand Rapids game, but the rest of them pretty much are. Jamison and Jamal, I think those two are not at the game, but the rest of them are. And I think it's very intriguing that Jacoby Walter will be playing in this Grand Rapids game today because in some ways it's his show to showcase how good he is and just how badass he can be at scoring and stuff like that. So I'm excited about seeing Jacoby play against Grand Rapids Gold today as maybe the focal point, the superstar, the guy who's going to get the ball fed to him for the majority of the game. Like that would be very, very cool to see that. Like I'd like to see Jacoby Walter get a 30-point game tonight in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. All right, Trevor J, words of wisdom, first person in. Let's see what you're saying, Commissioner of Fun. Be yourself and don't worry if someone does not like you. Most people are struggling to like themselves. This is actually really true. In some ways, like I've said before, with the Raptors, the way you treat the Raptors or feel about them as a fan says more about how you think about yourself. And it's a giveaway. It's a dead giveaway. If it's positive and healthy and loving, well, that may mean that you're positive and loving and healthy towards yourself. If you're toxic and hateful and kind of putting them down and overly critical and just kind of like negative overall, you're probably a very negative person in general in your life. And I'm realizing this more and more. A lot of the times the energy that comes at you from people out in society and public is more a reflection of how they're feeling and who they are than anything that you did. You have to understand that. If somebody's rude to you, if somebody does something crazy, like in public, especially in downtown Toronto, it's often more a reflection of them than anything that you did to them. And just understand that. So I appreciate your words of wisdom, Trevor J. Be yourself. Don't worry if somebody don't like you. They may be crazy and live in downtown in Toronto. Listen, I get a card to do that because I live downtown in Toronto for a big chunk of my life. And I just know all the interesting antics that can happen on TTC in the streets of Toronto. It's just like any other big city. In fact, it's safer and nicer. But there's crazy stuff that goes on in the city. Let's not lie. Trevor's saying, what a beautiful night to see the Raptors take down the NBA champions. So now we own Bucks and Knicks. A whoop ass. We owe them. Yeah. They did say this after the game too, Trevor. I was really proud of hearing this because we wondered about this earlier in the season when we're taking L's. Is anybody keeping score? Is anybody keeping receipts? Is anybody keeping track of who's beat our ass and who we need to come around and beat their ass later? And yeah, RJ is keeping track. He said this in the post-game interview. He's like, yeah, that game on New Year's Eve says stuck in my head. It stayed around in my head. And yeah, it was part of the reason why we did what we did tonight. So yeah, they're owing cans of whoop ass to different teams that have beat us already this year, and they're keeping score. So I'm glad to hear that these guys are very much keeping track. We'd love to see Scotty Barnes at the end of the game, the way he was acting. He was pumped up. He's fired up. There's been a couple times where Scotty is starting to connect with the audience. There was that time last night where he clapped at Jason Tatum when he was guarding him, and there was an ovation out of the crowd. It was like a wrestling match almost. It's almost like Scotty was like doing his signature little move, like The Rock would like throw his hand up and start doing all of his whoa, whoa, whoa. It was like he was doing that. The crowd reacting to him like that. It was a pop. It was a pop. Scotty got a pop because he went like that against Jason Tatum. I love that. Scotty, you have to understand, just like a wrestler would understand, you can get the audience under in the palm of your hand. All the great, charismatic, electric performers in the NBA's history know this. In fact, the guy who inspired that logo behind me knew it probably one of the best in the history of the NBA. You can electrify the audience. You can get them extra excited. You could bring them up. You could become a worldwide icon when you get people to feel that connection between you, Scott. And you're starting to show signs of this in a major way. And I want to see more of it. It was in that clapping at Jason Tatum and the reaction of the crowd saying, yeah, look at the emotion. Look at the way Scotty's working. Look at the way Scotty's putting it all on the court. Look at the way that he's passionate to compete against the champions last night. And at the end of the game, he couldn't help himself but get a turnover because he was so pumped about beating the Celtics last night that he dribbled, and then he dribbled. The ball went out of bounds, and it was a turnover right at the end. He said, it's worth it, that I need to get a turnover in this situation because I'm just so happy. And I'm happy things happened the way they did. You could tell. In some ways, this is the passion and the emotion that it shows that he's very binded and tied up with our franchise and very, 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 it's a very personal thing to him. And I love that. I love that. That connection between the crowd and you, Scott, you need to cultivate and get it more in tune in ways where you may be shocked just how enjoyable it is for you to play in the Scotiabank Arena with the crowd really with you in those kind of ways. You know, Emmanuel quickly loves crowd interaction, talking to people right at the court line and stuff like that. You know, there's a little bit of that here and there with Chris Boucher and Davion Mitchell going in the crowd, signing autographs before the end. There's a crowd interaction. But crowd interaction in the middle of the game at the highest level of competing in that kind of way, like you were doing last night, there's something different about the excitement and the roar that you can get from the crowd like that. So realize you're a powerful man, Scotty Barnes, and that you can get thousands of people sitting in that arena to react to you. You know, I would say stop channeling all your energy into whining and crying about things on the court. And start channeling your energy towards the crowd and then be surprised just how much energy they give you back is what I'm saying, Scotty. So, yeah, you made me realize something last night, that you are like Vince because you can get that crowd in the pocket of your hand. And you need to understand that, honor it, and utilize it in the best way possible to help the Raptors have success. That's what I want you to do, Scott. That's the next assignment, my guy. You grow into these superstar powers that you have, which you showed once again last night. There's no backtrack here. I'm not seeing him have a dud game since he turned on the superstar mode, and there's no backtracking. He is coming out and playing at that level and playing the superstar way and not fading into the bush, Homer Simpson. No, he is keeping it out there and doing it every single time since he revealed that he's going to be doing this now. And Darko Rich said in the press conference, yeah, we're working on Scott to get him this way and get him like this. And his stats don't lie. Scotty Barnes has had the most efficient, best month of his career in the last month. And that's partly because of the mid-range and the superstar stuff he's doing with those turnarounds and that sweet, silky shot that he's shooting through the net with no rim. Oof, so good. Let's go. All right, Kareem is here. Let's see what Kareem Thomas is saying here in the chat. Dunk champion. Kareem the butt dialer. Let's see what he's saying here. My stupid ass went to celebrate my mother-in-law's birthday last night. You have to do that, though, Kareem. Come on now. I didn't even watch the game. Fuck my life. I'll watch it later, but I said last week, Davion is essential to his team locking in on defense. You are so right, Kareem. You are so right. Oh, my God. If there's something I learned about last night, Davion Mitchell, I wish he could start for us. I know Emmanuel's going to be the starter, and that makes sense. But, man, Davion Mitchell's such a difference maker. You know, I may be totally wrong about what we're reading on Davion, that he is going to be possibly part of our future going forward because we value him so much on what the effect he's doing The thing I love about Davion, and this is the thing I realized about our great start at the beginning of the season after Emmanuel got hurt and Davion was starting at point guard, and a lot of the close games we had at the beginning of the seasons, even if we didn't win those games, we started those games really well, is Davion has our team organized when he's the point guard. If there's one thing Davion Mitchell does that's for sure, is he leads by example, by being a bulldog and going after everybody in the first point of attack on defense, but also he's communicative and he's organizing not only on the defensive side to help us stay organized and play more sound and capable at the beginning because he's talking and getting them set. He's doing the same thing on the other end. And we're a lot more capable and organized and into the game with Davion Mitchell in the starting lineup, I've noticed. And I like it. It's a nice feel. It's a secure feel. In some ways, he's got a weird confidence to him. It's not really like a confidence about scoring and doing a lot of that. It's a confidence about his defensive ability and the impact he can have on the game just through that. And the other stuff is gravy. I mean, Davion scored some points last night. It's not like he had an 0 for night last night. That's for sure. Yeah, Davion's awesome, man. He is so good. In the games when he plays for us, we play better. And we have a better team because he is that kind of player, man. I feel bad for you missed this game. There's a couple people that I was talking to last night that were saying, yeah, I didn't watch the game because I just expected it. Well, that's what I'm saying. This is the kind of game where this happens where people are just like, yeah, they're going to play the Celtics, they're going to get their ass kicked. And then they miss a gem. They miss an absolute gem because honestly, they played their most perfect game of the season last night. The Raptors were so in sync and really, really making very few mistakes in a lot of different ways. And the other thing is their offense was super, super successful. The Darko system looked beautiful against the champion Celtics, y'all. They were doing it perfectly. Like the thing that is the best thing about the Raptors offense last night was the patience. These guys are not rushing anything. Like it's an evidence of RJ doing the spin move right in the middle of the lane to wait and then get the right shot and put it in. It's evidence with Jakob taking his time to collect and be smart, and some of the shots that he's taken and being methodical, also recognizing when to drive and attack the basket himself. There's a lot of patience here. It's patience in making the extra pass among the group and getting the ball moved around to get the best high percentage shot. If there's one thing I absolutely love about Darko's philosophies on offense is to work to the best high percentage shot. And that even if you have a pretty good shot, well, is there another person near you that you can just flip the ball to? And it's an even better shot because it's a dunk. There's a lot of this going on where these guys are not being selfish. They're being patient and they're looking for teammates that are getting near the basket closer and dumping it off to them. And then boom, there's a dunk. Quite often the option is Jakob or Scotty. Just because of size and working the ball towards the basket, they're going to be the ones that are going to be nearby that they're going to get the easier high percentage shots that are right near the basket. But it's a beautiful thing. The patience was amazing last night. It was just absolutely perfect. And man, I'm so proud of them because, in some ways the Celtics may be a little flat right now. They may be going through things. Jason Tatum after the game saying, yeah, we're in some shit right now. Is what he said. It's funny. Celtics Nation is in shambles right now. That's another byproduct of what happened last night. That's absolutely fantastic. Is that a lot of them are second guessing things and they're really in their feelings in some ways. I mean, they just lost to the Raptors. In some ways that is something that people this year will say, oh, you lost the Raptors this year. And it'll mean something really bad. In some ways, that's why we're scary and dangerous because we may not have a lot of wins. We're starting to surge up. We're going to start beating a bunch of people's asses. And there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings afterwards or a little bit of not totally feeling like confident because of that. In some ways, we shook the Celtics, and the Celtics may be messed up a little bit for a couple games after this. I'm serious. Unless they get motivated to fix it and come out and have a better effort in the next game. But in some ways, this is not good for the confidence of the fan base. That's for damn sure. It really, really isn't. They're more likely to overreact and get all pissy and crazy. And like they're like, how did this happen? How did we lose to the Raptors? They have 9 wins. If anything, you want some entertainment, go look at the other side's fan base on social media this morning. How about that? Go look at them. Seriously. You see some stuff there. Seriously. Nako's saying, all right, can we scout second rounder Rocco Zikarsky? Yeah, I guess we can do this right off the bat. I kind of want to get into more of the reaction, and I know I'm kind of taking my time getting into it because I haven't even looked at the box score yet. But we'll do this real quick, just for you, Gerald. All right. So Rocco Zikarsky. I've never heard this name in my life ever. Zikarsky. Okay, what is this guy? He's from Australia. Okay, let's see. All right, yeah, we're going to his Wikipedia first. Rocco Zikarsky. He's 18 years old. He's from the Sunshine Coast of Queensland, Australia. He is 7'3". Wow, 7'3", 227 pounds, and he's in the NBA and NBL, which is the NBA version of in the Australian NBA. So he's played over there on the Brisbane Bullets. Okay, good to see that name surviving somewhere. Bullets. Anyway, let's see. How many years has he played? He's been on the national team for Australia also. Okay. Okay. He played in the FIBA World Cup in the under 17. So he hasn't really played in the big FIBA World Cup yet. Okay. So he's on Australian national team. He's 7'3". He's 18 years old. And I don't really see any stats here. So let me go ahead and go straight to YouTube, and we'll see what Rocco is like there. Very interesting prospect, a 7'3" center from Australia. Okay, I like what you're thinking here, Naco the Nacho. I like what you're thinking. All right, I don't want to do a 1.5 minute thing. 10 minutes of Dark Rocco. I don't know if I want 10 minutes. Let's just do 5 minutes of Rocco Zikarsky's best plays from the first half of the NBL season this year. He's not in college, so this is interesting. All right, let's see. Here I am giving a first scout to Rocco Zikarsky. He looks like a Paul brother. I don't know why, but to me, he kind of looks like he's a Paul brother. Wow, that's a pretty good block right there. He's definitely a huge man. He's wearing pink shoes and the thing. He blocked with his left hand on that one. I bet he can block with either hand. Let's see. All right, let's see how fast he is. He's a lumbering guy. Yeah, he's kind of slow, Nako, from what I've seen. There's a nice putback dunk where he caught the rebound and put it back. But, man, his foot speed looked really slow on that play. Like he's not recovering or moving very fast. And that could be a huge problem in the NBA with translating to that. You know, that's the one thing with guys like this. You need to really look and see what kind of foot speed they have. Okay, let's see the three. He took a corner three. It wasn't clean, but he got the shooter's bounce. That's weird, man. He has a weird shot. I'm not going to say he's a good three-point shooter just because he made that. You need to be more than that at this point. That's a crazy lob. All right, this is not really good level of competition in this highlight, I can tell, as far as things, because that's like he had all the time in the world, and defense was nowhere near him. So I don't know, man. In some ways, I'd worry about how quick he gets up and down the court. And I also might be worried a little bit about how fast he is on his feet. Think about Kelly Olynyk and how slow he is on the court, like as far as compared to most other NBA players. This guy may be slower than Kelly. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to be 7'3" and do a lot of this stuff, especially in a league like this. But I don't know, man. I don't know if he can translate to the speed, because I'm not seeing him as a very quick guy right now. In fact, he looks like Boban speed right now, is what I'm saying. He looks like he's about Boban speed. If you know about that, Boban, Boban. It's about this, big guys can't always be super fast, He is okay. He came over and there's a block from the weak side. That's a good sign that he got some foot speed to run from the other side to come over and block over on the strong side. In some ways, I don't like the way he's rebounding, because he's kind of not grabbing the ball with two hands. He was kind of tipping it around. I mean, if you're that guy, you need to just grab it, bro. So a couple more block highlights on here. Let's see. There's a nice pass, recognition of a guy cutting to the basket. Of course, that guy was way wide open. He couldn't screw that play up. There's a fast break, and he's the trailer. So let's see how this works out. This guy puts three in the corner, and this guy's going to get on the board. Oh, the guy, wasn't even in that play. Why did they show that play? That's weird. Okay, I'm just kind of trying to see what's up. Okay, there's a putback. See, he'd be good for that for sure. And he's probably going to be a pretty good lob threat. But like I said, I really worry about foot speed with big lumbery guys like this. And the NBL is not the same speed as NBA. It's just not. The NBA is the fastest league in the world. There's no league that's faster than the NBA because the amount of players in the league that are so fast, it just is sped up like that. Yeah, I don't know about Zikarsky, man. I don't know about him. I like the frame, I like the size, but I worry that he is not fast enough, Nako. So I'll say that. Are you saying for around in the second round? Yeah, he's definitely a second rounder, I think, because I don't think the skills are well rounded enough to be a first round top pick or something like that. So I could see that. All right, Nako, thanks for the scout of the day. Rocco Zikarsky from Australia, NBL League. Yeah, the size is great. The blocking shots, of course, is going to do that. I wish that I saw him more as an active player, but he seems very slow. He seems slow. That's the short notes right there. Smooth's here. Good to see Reggie. Nice win. Raptors caught the Celtics at the right time. Boston looked confused out there. Yeah, this really is important, and it goes a lot into my previews. When I do my previews, I really kind of look at where the teams that are facing each other are and what they're doing. And the Raptors are on an upswing right now. We're on a very good little confidence boost from beating the Warriors and now the Celtics. And this kind of stuff can snowball. That's the great thing. The success of last night was begot from the success of Monday night. And that's what I'm saying. When we talk about losing breeds losing and winning breeds winning, well, that's what I'm saying. In some ways, we won on Monday. We got good feels, good vibes, good, strong bonding between teammates, more trust, more feelings of happiness. And boom, they go out and they're even more connected in the next game against the Celtics. And they take care of business. Now, just imagine how they're feeling after beating the Celtics last night. And hopefully they can keep the snowball avalanching down the hill of just collecting and accumulating more and more positive feelings and connection and great plays and winning coming up for them now. In some ways, this is something that maybe we expected to happen when IQ came back and we were fully healthy. Like somebody said in the chat before, that it's like a player. You got to go through your rhythms and get your things right. And then all of a sudden the team is looking better. Now, Emmanuel's back out all of a sudden again. But I think that the idea of what's happening and that we're mostly healthy, other than Emmanuel, is enough right now. And there's always going to be somebody, maybe one person that's not available. It's just how it is. But we're pretty much mostly there and intact as a team right now. And that's it right there. So, yeah, this is the real Raptors. We're full strength, and we're finally getting our rhythm when the full strength Raptors are available. So I love it. I love it. Nice win. Nice win. The Celtics are going through it. In some ways, like Alvin said on the broadcast last night, the Celtics know when the time is, and it's at the end of the year, and they'll have doldrums in the middle of the season, and they'll be in little funks. They'll be in little places where they're not playing their tightest or their best, like last night, and they'll get exposed and get beat down like that. Yeah, yeah. That's it right there. That's it right there. Yeah. A lot of it was the defensive coverages. We did a fantastic job covering different people and just being really up on them and not giving them any easy getting into their game at all. You saw that. Like, as great as we were on offense last night, we were so good on defense too, you guys. You got to understand, like, they were connected and playing off each other on defense just as much. And the way that Brown and Tatum never really got to going. I mean, Tatum was doing some of that stuff with threes at times, but for the most part, and even Jaylen Brown, like, he's been muscling people down low, but he couldn't do it against us to an extent. And they didn't get a whole lot of points. Tatum and Brown were real quiet. It seems like their secondary guys are always the ones who kind of come up against us, like Pritchard and Derek White. But Derek White was not good last night. In fact, Grady Dick took a lot of pride in guarding Derek White from the start of the game and trying to do his best the job he could. And he did a fantastic job. In some ways, sometimes with Grady, our lineup, it is just finding the right person for him to guard on the other side where he has a decent ability to keep up with them and a little bit of height on them maybe. And that was the case with Derek White last night, with Grady Dick taking the defensive assignment on him. There was some weird little thing in the middle of the game where it was Scotty versus Peyton. And I was like, why? Why is this happening? Where the Celtics are putting Peyton Pritchard on Scotty over and over again. And then at the other end, Scotty's guarding Peyton too. I was like, why is this a matchup? What's going on here? Was there shit talk? Was there something going on? But I thought it was funny. And there was a lot of Scotty yelling like, hey, he's on my back. I need to post him up. And they miss him sometimes, but they got him a lot of times. But yeah, that was hilarious. Like, what was that? Peyton versus Scotty shit in the middle of the game. It was weird, man. It was very, very weird. Very, very weird. Smith saying, I guess the Toronto nightlife did them in. Yeah, there may be some of this as a factor because Tatum and Brown were not their sharpest. They really weren't. And you know what? If you're cocky enough to think you could come up here and just get crazy and be like half-assed and hungover and drunk and come play the Raptors and beat them, well, there's your lesson, Celtics. And that may be part of the lesson that Coach Joe's telling them today is that, yeah, I told y'all you shouldn't go out into Toronto nightlife the night before a game against the Raptors because, well, this is what happens. So, yeah, that could have happened, man. Seriously. Trevor J saying Isaiah Thomas reveals that he has Bell's palsy, an inability to move the facial muscles on one side of his face. Man, I'm familiar with that. He's a basketball legend. Yeah. I mean, Isaiah, there's some stuff I read in one of the books my dad gave me for Christmas talking about Isaiah, pound for pound, is the best player ever in the history of the NBA. And you know what? In some ways, you can't argue that because he's so small. And the ability of what he did around the Bad Boys Pistons championships was absolutely insane. Like, seriously, there would be stretches in games in the playoffs where Isaiah would score all the points for the Pistons, like consecutively in a row. And nobody could stop him. They were trying to, trust me. They were trying to stop an under 6 foot guy from scoring. And that's why I say pound for pound, he may be the greatest NBA player ever in the history of basketball. Seriously. Some people on the down low believe this because he's such a small player and just the impact that he had. You can talk about Allen Iverson as a player that's similar to him as far as an overwhelmingly good scorer and stuff, but he didn't get the accolades that Isaiah got with the 2 championships. And in some ways, Allen was never the team player or team captain that Isaiah was. I'm just saying. I hate hearing this news about Isaiah this morning. I wish him well. I hope he a very unstressful life so that he can just feel happy and deal with the Bell's palsy easily and happily. It's just something that is dealt with through having no stress. It's triggered by stress. And if you're very, very stressed out, that's when the paralysis of your face can happen. So we need Isaiah to just chill and be happy and comfortable and get that really, really happy, awesome life that he deserves, being one of the greatest NBA players of all time and just doing that. I hate hearing this news, Trevor. Original president of the Raptors, Isaiah Thomas, we love you here on the Raptor Street channel, and we don't like hearing this, and we just wish you all the best with dealing with this. Yeah. Smooth saying Jason Tatum and crew were partying with Drake's people. So, yeah, Instagram post. There you go. Good job, Drake. Drake didn't show up to the game, but, yeah, he showed up to the pre-party. And, yeah, good job, Drake. Hey, this is the kind of way you're going to help the Raptors global ambassador. You go ahead. Take the other team out and show them the nightlife. Give them that Drake card and go to the restaurants and the clubs. And, yeah. Okay, then. Yeah, smooth. Drake set him up. There you go. Drake, maybe you will get back on the broadcast. You do this a couple more times. Maybe you will get back on the broadcast. Nako saying, Shed's blowing me away again. Love Scotty's Viking scream. Yeah, I mean, I like it when he's doing it because he's fired up. I don't like it when he's whining and crying. In some ways, it's just a part of Scott. I got to get used to him. He's loud. He's a very loud player. And in some ways, on the court, especially after halftime, when none of the fans are in their seats, it's so quiet in there. You can hear Coach Mike Batiste yelling the countdown of the shot clock. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's their coach Bulldozer that's doing that. And then, you can hear a lot of the chatter on the court, like Drew Holiday saying it's like, damn, Drew, or something like that. You can hear a lot of it from the mics that are kind of near the court, picking up some of the ambiance from the court. Like every once in a while you hear a naughty word. But, yeah, you can hear Scotty going, ah, ah, ah. I mean, oh, man, I feel bad for him. And every time Scotty crumples to the ground or something like that, we got to watch out. And somebody's playing Boy Cry Wolf, just so y'all know. But that's scaring Raptors fans, Scott, just so you know. Like, if you lay on the floor in a fetal position after something, everybody's freaking out. Just so you know, Scotty, don't do that shit. You really freak us out. Now, I know in some ways maybe you're trying to garner some sympathy from the refs, get some calls for you. But every time you crumple to the ground in any kind of way, or you're holding your head like this, I'm like, oh, fuck. No elbows to the eye. No, 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 nothing like that. There was one where he took a lick on his forehead from Al Horford. And yeah, it was a little scary. And he said, "Yeah, I got a knot on my head. I got a little knot on my head." He's getting knots and bumps from different things around the court. And maybe he's overacting whenever he gets any kind of contact because he's, doing stuff. And that's really to try and get favor from the refs. But man, you scare the hell out of Raptors fans. I'm just going to say that, Scotty, with your because we have trauma from this. I mean, you got cracked in the face at the game I went to earlier this season against Denver by Nikola Jokic, and that really messed up your plan for the season for a little while there. So that's the thing. But once again, Scotty's missed so many games, he doesn't want to miss anymore for the rest of the year. So in some ways, that 65 game rule is working for things in the league because who knows if the old rules, Scotty may have been sitting more because he's been partly hurt. But because he wants to make 65 games, he has more gumption to be out there and dressed and playing. And that's fantastic. I love that. So we're saying Boston got what they wanted in the fourth, especially, but could not convert. Yeah, thank God they couldn't shoot last night. In some ways, that was a big factor, that they were off with their shots. But let's not get it twisted. We contested and we met them and we made it hard for them to get comfortable and also to get in a groove. And that's very smart because in some ways that's how they kill people. The Celtics want to make shots and feel good and get into a groove. We never let them do that last night. We never let it be easy. And that's what I'm saying, a testament to our defensive team for how they didn't let the Celtics get comfortable on their offense at all last night. They really didn't. They had a really hard time scoring. In fact, at times they looked like us when we were having stagnation and drought of not being able to score. And it was late in the game, which was crazy. Like in the fourth quarter or the end of the third, the Celtics couldn't buy a basket. And I was like, yeah, I like this. I like this. This is cool. This is very, very cool. Yeah. Trevor J saying the Celtics game commentators gave the Raptors high praise for beating the Celtics. They had coach said that we cut very well off of ball cutting. Their head coach said, Joe Mazzulla giving praise about the way we cut. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff that's happening is so pinpoint. It's risky and it's dangerous, but that's what I'm saying. The trust and the confidence between the two, between the players is important for that. So I don't know what's going on. My battery was not charging. All right, now it's back on. Yeah. I mean, that's really tough to do. Some of the Grady baskets near the basket on those cuts is such a thread the needle. And RJ and Scotty and them are finding them. And some of the passes Scott's doing, like that behind pass that he did to Jakob, was insane. Wasn't that cool? This totally Irvin Johnson. Totally Irvin Johnson. The little shovel pass behind him when he's on the baseline underneath. And Yak gets this really crazy bank push shot, like right in a rhythm with it. That was a rhythm silver platter pass. And it was a high level one that is like top level NBA content. And that's the kind of stuff, Scott, along with getting the crowd fired up and getting the passion connection between you and them with the really dazzling plays that are absolutely unique and tough for you, because there's not many people in the league that are doing anything like that pass you did to Jakob last night. That's a lot of people are just not that kind of player. So I'm telling you, you got to lean into these kind of things and you will become a face of the league like Darko predicted. You need to lean into these things because people love this kind of shit. Your highlight from last night with that pass to Jakob is one of the favorite highlights from the NBA last night across the league, not just with Raptors fans. Across the league, people see that. And that's what I want to see more of that. That's right. The ball cutting was precise, and the passes to the ball cutters were precise also and successful. And that's amazing and awesome. Convert. That's right. That's right. Trevor's, I read that one. Stargate saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. See what occurs when one team is prepared and the other isn't? It doesn't matter the record. The Raptors were prepared to play that game last night, and the Celtics clearly were not. This is a great point. I think he's exactly right. And it may be Drake and the partying. It may be that the Raptors were more prepared because they're locked in and really on task because they're feeling good from finding some success recently. That's part of it too. You get a little bit of success like you do against the Golden State Warriors. All of a sudden, you're feeling those good feelings and they carry over and they snowball, like I've been saying today. They snowball. Jimmy Pub saying, shame I fell asleep after the first quarter. It seems like it was one of the best games of the year. Shaking my head. I love seeing the discourse in Boston fandom acting like the sky is falling, laughing my ass off. They really are. They really, really are. I can imagine what Boston fans felt like watching that game. They were probably so frustrated and just going crazy. And meanwhile, for us, it was just a delight. Just a delight. Yeah, it's just shame you fell asleep, Jimmy. It's a shame because, man, that game just got better and better. And the passing was fantastic. I haven't even talked about box score yet. We're still talking about the game. Fiercey's here, y'all. Good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. Welcome back, Marie. I'm so happy to see you back, MJ. I missed you, and I'm sorry if I was a little harsh with some of your comments in the past. I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate your return. Finally, MJ has come back to the Raptor Streak stream. I love it. I love it. Just like The Rock. That's right. Winning streak incoming. Woot, 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 woot. Yes. Yes. 2-game win streak. I love it. I love it. Let's add some more. Great win yesterday. Collaborative effort. All starters in double digits. Yeah. All right. We'll do the box scores. Fiercey's going to give me the cue today for the box score. All right. My number one star of the game for the game last night. I was going to do 7 stars, but I'm only going to do 5. Is RJ Barrett. I'm going to give RJ Barrett the first star of the game. I could have given 3 guys the star of the game. Actually, 4, honestly. There are 4 guys that could have been deserving. But I'll give it to RJ, the leading scorer for the Raptors last night. Just 2 assists shy of a triple-double. He shot 10 for 18. In some ways, this was a bounce-back game for RJ because he has not played well in recent games. And this is something that some of the Celtics fans were saying in some of the chat spaces last night, that RJ always has a good game against us. 10 of 18 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 1 of 4 at the free throw line. The free throws are still a problem here and there, but they didn't bite us in the ass. 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, a +8 with 2 turnovers, 22 points. RJ Barrett, welcome back. And you find your spots and you pick your places. And the thing that's really interesting about RJ is that he's such an aggressive bully kind of player on offense. But in some ways, you're really starting to see the side of him with the playmaker. So it's a real dichotomy. It's like he could be totally aggressive and just, I'm taking the ball. Or he could be like very giving. He's very, very giving. And he's one of those guys that has a silver platter. Like he's been setting up guys and rhythm passes. And they said this after the game last night, that Darko was very pleased that RJ and Scotty together had 17 assists between the two of them. And they aren't point guards. So that's setting the tone. That's getting the collective to be very connected and a web of passing between everybody and each other, because those guys are leaders and they set the tone. If you have a leader that is selfish and just wants to call their number over and over again, you won't get that kind of ripple effect around that person like the Raptors had last night. So RJ and Scotty being so unselfish, the two of them are fantastic. So thank you, RJ, for a fantastic bounce back game. And yeah, you were my star of the game, although it should be really shared with a few people, honestly. My second star of the game last night is Scotty Barnes. Scotty was just like RJ as far as he was learning when to pick his number and when not to. At halftime, Scotty had 5 points. And I was, man, Scott, you got to have more than 5 points in this game. What are you doing out there? You hit a 3, you made 1 basket down low. That's it. That's all in the first half. That's all you did. Well, Scotty went and did more in the second half. Now, he only scored 13 more points. But right away after halftime, Scotty initiated our offense to be successful by using his very overpowering, close to the basket shots and turnarounds that he's been doing recently. He had 2 trips down the court immediately and got the first 2 baskets for us after halftime. And that set the tone for us to not have a letdown in the third quarter after halftime, which is so important to our super fan, Monique Lawrence. And I appreciate Scott for doing that. In fact, I think Scotty's starting to realize, like Alvin said on the broadcast, where he can habitate in games. Then he's starting to understand how powerful he really is. And that's the thing. Once this happens, this league's in trouble. Because at one point last night, Scott recognized that he had Porzingis on him and that he could beat him with speed. So he broke him down and beat him to the basket with a nice speed move. That's all it's going to take, Scott. You can beat anybody in this league, either by strength or speed. And you just have to recognize the opportunity and which one you need to choose at that particular time. But yeah, Scotty, you're fantastic. Appreciate your initiative to get the game going in the second half the right way for the Raptors. And also some very key important kind of leadership, especially on defense and rebounding. And then also on offense with passing and kind of being a hub, and then also being a steady scorer for them. If we need a basket, you're getting more apt to step up and raise your hand and say, I'll make the basket when we're in trouble. And we need an absolute bucket right now. Scotty's raising his hand more often and saying, I'll take this and I'll do it. Now, he's not straight up taking over the game still at the end of the game and just closing it out for us. But at some point, this is going to happen, just so y'all know. This is going to happen. Scotty, 8 of 16 from the field, 50%. 1 of 5 from 3, just like RJ. 1 of 2 at the free throw line. 3 rebounds, 9 assists. 1 steal, 2 blocks. Plus 11 with 18 points in 36 minutes. Yeah, it's not a super overwhelmingly powerful game by Scott, but it's a team game, and it's a game where he did the things that he needed to do to help his team win. And some of this stuff doesn't show up in what I just read. It has to do with hustle. It has to do with defensive coverage. It has to do with all kinds of different intangibles on the court: passion, heart, keeping your teammates on task, and also making that connection with the crowd. Fantastic. So good. So good. The third star is the guy who got the chain last night. And honestly, that's what I'm saying. I could have made this guy the star of the game. I could have made Scotty this. Scotty wouldn't have been the star of the game. It'd been either RJ, Jakob, or Davion would have been my star of the game. But Jakob is my third star of the game because he's perfect. 8 for 8 last night. So fantastic. 3 offensive rebounds, 11 rebounds altogether, 2 assists, 1 block, a +7 with 16 points in 31 minutes. A double-double for Jakob, another one in the books. But at 8 for 8 shooting, Jakob didn't miss anything that he shot last night. And the other thing that's crazy about Jakob at this point, like, it's interesting to watch him against Porzingis because in some ways they're similar, but in some ways they are absolutely different. And one of them is, well, Porzingis shoots threes. He is a three-point threat, and he did hit a couple last night. But Jakob's a better player than him in some ways. I'm going to say that right now. And the reason why is because he does everything inside. He's a better defensive center than Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis is a good shot blocker, but he is not a good defensive center. And Jakob is so weird this year. He's like, he's having such a career year this year. This man's putting the ball on the floor and dribbling up the court like a point guard. This man's like outside, like near the 3-point line, and he's dribbling the ball and driving on people and laying it up. He's doing all this shit. And I'm like, dude, you're not supposed to be doing this because this is kind of out of your wheelhouse. He's like, no, he's doing it. He's doing it. It's amazing. Some of the putting the ball on the floor stuff that Jakob's doing right now is top notch. Like, if he sees he has the ability to go aggressively at the basket, he's not like passing the ball to the next guy. He sees that lane, he's taking it and running at the basket, and he's laying it up. And I love that aggression from him. In some ways, when he was younger, he was a passive center, and he was more likely to defer to people. But as he's gotten older, Jakob has recognized the opportunities that are presented in front of him, and he's taking them aggressively. Like, he's taking them aggressively. He's attacking the rim with layups and dunks off of cuts, or just recognizing that for some reason he can dribble around and drive around the guy, which is crazy because I never thought he'd ever be a player like this when he showed up in the league long time ago as a Raptors rookie, that he'd ever be a player that would put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket. Did you ever think Jakob would do that? It's amazing. I love it. 8 for 8, perfect. And he's the chain man. He got the chain last night. And that says a lot about Darko circling around and giving the chain to Jakob for, this game against the Celtics, the champs. The Jakob got that chain. Amazing. The fourth star is Davion Mitchell. Man, Davion had his best game of the year, honestly, in some ways to me. He really did. He set that tone, like Kareem was saying. He came out, set the tone for excellence for the team with the effort and the connection as a team. Like I said, there's something about him being the leader on the court as the point guard that gets everybody organized in the right kind of way. And there seems to be a better confidence on defense when he's out there. And there's also, I don't know why, but like, because he's not, and this may be the difference between him and Emmanuel, he's not going to shoot it very often. He really is kind of getting more guys involved right from the start of the game because he's very patient. And in some ways, he's a very good point guard. He's very, very good at kind of figuring it out and getting it organized. And I feel like that was a big, huge part of why we won last night, is the organization set by Mitchell right from the start of the game as the starting point guard. And I'm not dissing Emmanuel. Emmanuel's important. He's going to be starting for us. Don't get it twisted. I want to give praise to all of our guys. And it doesn't mean when I praise Davion Mitchell, I'm dissing Emmanuel Quickly. I'm just saying I'm recognizing what Davion Mitchell brings, and I'm putting it on blast. That's all I'm doing right now. It has nothing to do with Quickly. Quickly comes back. He's paid the money he's paid. He's going to start. But don't get it twisted. I value Davion Mitchell, and Masai and Bobby. Y'all need to bring him back next year. Seriously. You need to figure it out because this guy's fantastic. And you guys, I love him. Honestly, I love him. I love the fact that he came out and he helped them get their scores right away. And then he got 2 quick fouls, yelled at Mark Davis, got a technical, and then he had to go sit. And he said after the game in his press conference, he said, "I'm so happy I got the 2 fouls early because it set the tone for me and it made me want to play even harder because of what happened." Davion's so badass. Actually, y'all need to watch Davion Mitchell's press conference last night after the game because he said in a lot of ways exactly what all Raptors fans need to hear about this season and how they should look at it. You know, there was one jabroni in the press conference last night. I think it was Adam Lascaris that was asking the stupidest fucking questions to Darko and RJ. They basically asked them, why are you guys trying to win? You're supposed to be losing to tank. Just like those idiots in our fan nation that have that mentality. Boy, did they shoot that motherfucker down for his stupid ass question. And RJ said straight up to him when he asked him that, he said, "What are we doing here? We're supposed to be here to try and win." To Adam Lascarius, the stupid tank reporter asking stupid tanking questions. I think that's who that was. I'm not totally sure. That may have been Zatzman. I don't know. It was one of those 2 guys. I'm pretty positive. It may, on the outside chance, maybe Aaron Rose. But it was one of those idiots, one of those 3 idiots that asked the question straight up to Darko. Like, he said, how do you ask Darko Rajakovic, a man who just beat the Celtics, the NBA champions right now, why are you winning? You're supposed to be losing for the draft. How do you do that? What an idiot. And in some ways, you know, people that are going to come in a press conference and ask those questions don't need press credentials. Seriously. Because you're not in touch with sports and the mentality of competitive sports. You're obviously just some jabroni who was an internet kid who never actually got out there on the court and played basketball to ask such a stupid fucking question. Stupid questions get snappy answers. That's what I learned from Mad Magazine. That's right. Davion Mitchell, 4 for 6 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3. Those threes were sweet and just right on time. 0 for 1 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover. So 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, a plus 16, the highest plus minus on our team. Davion Mitchell is having an effect on winning to help us. 10 points, double digits. So all 5 starters got double digits last night, and I love it. And I love it so much. They all got double digits, including Davion. My 5th star of the game is the backup point guard for last night, Jamal Shead. Jamal Shead came out in the court, and he hit some very timely threes. He's very organized. He's very astute. He's very intelligent. Just double down on a lot of the things we've been saying about him in the last couple of days in the stream, about how he's a part of our future. He's catching on to things faster than some people in our past. And he's also just doing a very, very good job being a backup point guard. And, man, he's hitting his 3 way better than ever. There's some good confidence in his 3-point shot, and he's dialed in. And the guys are really trusting him, and they're getting him. And there was a 3 he made last night that was so hard in the corner. Like, this is crazy, all right? O'Shot, he tries to shoot a 3 from the corner, and he gets blocked. He gets the hell blocked out of him. And I think it was Al Horford. It was either Al Horford or Porzingis. It was one of the 2 centers for the Celtics. That somebody blocked O'Shea in the corner, right, and like made him look bad, honestly. And then Shed goes in there, shorter than O'Shea, and he does a crazy kind of leaner shot from the corner shot that's absolutely high difficulty with the defender draped over him with their arm, and he shoots around their arm and makes it. That's such a baller shot. That's such a winner kind of like shot. Like, I'm going to make this shot because that's not fundamentals because he's not squared up when he shot that. That's a dude like kind of when you played street ball when you're a kid and you're just in the zone and your big cousin who's way taller than you is coming at you, blocking you, and you just kind of throw it and it goes in. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. So I love seeing that shot by Shed in the game last night. 2 for 4 from 3. 1 assist, 3 turnovers. Not so good on the assisted turnover ratio, but a +2 nonetheless with 8 points off the bench. Jamal Shed. Fantastic. Yeah, those are my stars of the game. I'll go over the rest of the team in a bit in just a sec. Yeah, it was awesome, man. What an awesome game. Double digits for all the starters, including Grady. Grady is one of my honorable mentions for the game last night. Grady, 25 minutes, 4 for 9, 2 of 6 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover, a +5 with 12 points. The one thing I really liked about what happened with Grady last night is that in this game last night, because we had a pretty good cushion at the end of the game and we're closing them out really well, we never let them surge back up and take the lead. We kind of just held them down. Grady was able to play the end of the game in crunch time. That in recent games, when we played these close games, like against Golden State, he didn't. But this time, Grady got to play the game out. And I also really applaud Darko for allowing those starters to play right up until the 0-0 and get that satisfactory feeling of the clock running out and being on top of the champion Celtics. That's a really, really, really awesome thing. In some ways, some people will say, oh, no, put in your bench guys and get them the kudos to come out. No, let them dribble it out like Scotty did, even though he got a turnover, and get that really satisfactory feel of being on the court when the buzzer goes 0-0 and you have won against Boston. And I appreciate Darko for doing that, man. What a great thing that Grady got late game experience against the champion Celtics in a game where we won, and he got experience in holding a team off. That's huge progress and development. I'm telling you, they don't get those opportunities very often where you're beating the champion in the 5 minutes of the last 5 minutes of the game. You got to hold them off. And Grady's out there getting high-level development time because of that. That was fantastic. So good. So good. Reggie's saying, got to be honest. Hang on. Let me jump ahead. I don't know why it does that to me. No. I see you guys are filling it up. Remember, I don't have a timer. And please, let's be succinct and on point and make worthwhile comments is what I will please ask for everyone. Smooth saying, got to be honest, I'm not focusing on the Raptors as much as most of you right now. The rebuild is taking a toll on me. I'm invested in Grady and RJ, though. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's tough. And I'm crazy. Like, normally when it's like this with the team, I will take a step back. But because I'm doing this channel, I can't. I have to stay right on top of everything because you guys depend on me to an extent to get everything, like knowing what's going on in Raptors world. So in some ways, I feel the duty to this channel to stay as in depth and like really on top of it all. Even though at times I've been like, I don't want to do this, Reggie. I'm going to be honest. There's been times last year and this year where I've been like, this is a grind. This is crazy, Lex. Why the hell did you commit yourself to a daily Raptors stream every day at 9:30 in the morning with this kind of stuff going on with the rebuild? Well, it's just part of the process. And in some ways, it's rewarding. Like things like last night are very rewarding because you're really on the ground running with them at every step of what's going on with this. But yeah, I've told people on this channel over and over again, I get it. Everybody's got their own lives and they got other things. And it's not easy to stay in the trenches with them on a minute-by-minute, game-by-game basis with them. And I totally get why a lot of Raptors fans missed this game last night because they thought that it was going to be a certain way. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, Fiercely saying we can beat any team. Well, we just proved it last night. That's for sure, MJ. That's for sure. We can beat any team. You know, we came close to beating Cleveland in some ways. The last time we played them, we're closer. It's just going to be a process, and it's going to, we're going to have our ups and downs. It's not going to be like we're going to have a bad loss by the end of this year too, for sure. But we'll have more good wins too. We'll have more good wins. Trevor's saying Davion's off night defense was on full display. Let's talk about that a little bit, and we'll look across the court to the other side. Jason Tatum had 16 points and 10 rebounds, 7 assists. He was a -1, 5 of 15 from the field, and we held the Celtics to under 100 points. A lot of people are touting that as a huge, huge accomplishment because, yeah, it's true. The Celtics have a crazy offense that scores a lot, and we didn't let them get to 100. That's fantastic, honestly. Jaylen Brown only got 10 points last night, guys. He shot a 4-1-6, a 4 out of 16, 1 for 1 from 3, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. So between Jaylen and Jason, 26 points last night. Will you take that? Yeah, I'll take that. The two main players for the Celtics only got 26 last night. Like, who was doing damage? Well, Peyton, as usual, off the bench, 7-11, 4 for 8 from 3. 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. It's funny, like I didn't get that whole thing with him and Scotty. Why were they matching him up on Scotty? Like Coach Joe, what was the philosophy in saying, Peyton, why don't you guard Scotty? What was that philosophy? It's like, I mean, is he some sort of little like Kyle Lowry doorstop kind of guy that's really strong? He's going to try and do some stuff to Scott. No, I can shoot right over him. Why would you do that, Coach Missoula? Seriously, it's such a weird call that you did it for a little while in the middle there, where you had him on there. Yeah, yeah, interesting game. The other thing that was really important was 2 players were not as effective as they should have been. Is Drew Holiday and Derek White. Derek White usually gets some threes and shoots pretty good, but he was really, really not good last night. 2 for 9 and minus 29 in the game last night. He had the worst plus minus out there. He was really, really off. Maybe he went out, seriously. And then Drew Holiday is normally a really crazy, amazing defensive player, but he was ineffective at doing any kind of stopping of us. And I feel like part of it was Davion Mitchell, him and Shed. They're just a particular point guard type that Drew Holiday doesn't like match up very well against in certain ways. Porzingis, I said this at the beginning of the game, that, Porzingis, and this will be an interesting little take on Porzingis right here. Porzingis is a loser, guys. Porzingis was in Washington. He was in Dallas. He was in New York. And everywhere he went, he was kind of around losing all the time. Part of the problem is Porzingis is a certain type of player, kind of like Embiid, where you know he can be like helping you win, but he can also be the part of the reason why you lose. And he was part of the reason why they lost last night. I'm not gonna lie. Last year when they won their championship, they kind of got a hidden blessing that Porzingis was hurt for a lot of the time last year, because in some ways they probably would have had a worse record if Porzingis had been healthy, because he absolutely hurts them in certain hidden ways that they don't understand. Exactly. And the thing is, the way that they won last year with him showing up in the playoffs and halfway through the playoffs and kind of just boosting them at that time, that was fine. But if he goes in the playoffs healthy and they go in there, people are going to use the weaknesses of Kristaps against him. And they're going to beat the Celtics in an earlier round this year. Mark my words right now. I'm going to say this right now. This is the Raptors Freak making a prediction in January about something that's going to happen in May. The Celtics will go out in an early round, partly because of Porzingis. I'm saying this right now. And y'all mark it down and put a pin in it and know that I said this on this date of January 16th, 2025. That's right. Let's see. Stargate saying Boston is 500 in their last 14 games. They haven't been playing well. Yeah. Yeah, I read that trend in the preview yesterday, and that's why I said our chance to beat them is good. And, well, it happened. It happened. Jimmy's saying, I hate the idea of tanking. You don't want to build losing habits. I'm hoping we get way more wins. The thing is that, like, look, in some ways we're losing. That's just an action, but it's not the action we want. It's not the outcome we want. And all the things we train to do as a team is towards winning. And that's the thing. The things that we're learning are towards winning. We have winning mentality. We have ways of winning. It may not add up to winning yet because it's just not lining up in the right way as far as the talent with the aptitude and the connection and the chemistry of the young nucleus. But it is at times too. And that's the thing. You got to practice in winning ways. If you practice in losing ways and tanking ways and that mentality, well, that's what you'll get more of, Philadelphia 76ers. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, Raptors fans, get with the program. Listen, understand why we do what we're doing, and we are learning in winning ways. And the winning ways were shown last night. That's right. The winning ways were shown last night. That's right. Smooth saying at Fiercey, good to see you on. I was worried. Yeah, she's had some busy times. I know I did kind of piss her off and upset her when I was a little harsh on some of her comments a couple weeks ago. And I apologize for that. I understand, like, y'all, I don't want to be like this jerk and this abrasive guy that shoots down everybody's comments. And I know I've been that on this channel. I really have. Every single person that comes here regularly at some point has me negatively react to a comment. And I know that sometimes I go overboard and I say things that I shouldn't. And I also know that sometimes I'm not as respectful as I should be. So I want to apologize to MJ right now for being a little disrespectful towards her on some of her comments in streams a couple weeks ago. And honestly, you guys are my friends. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. and I shouldn't be treating you guys like that to a degree. So I'm going to try and be more cognizant of being nicer to the comments, because I understand this is a pattern that I've had while doing this channel that comes and goes, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want to be abrasive. I want to be more diplomatic, and I want to be better about interacting with you guys. And I know that I have a lot of room to improve. So hopefully you guys will see improvement over time of me being a little bit more tactful about how I deal with comments, whether I agree with them or not. I don't want to change me, in my opinion, and just like, oh, I'm going to agree with everybody, but maybe the way that I talk to people and the way that I go about responding, it'll be a lot more respectful instead of how I treated Fiercey. It wasn't right. And I apologize. I sincerely apologize this morning. MJ, I do it on the channel right now. That's right. Yeah, I was worried too. She's been busy though. She's had a lot of tournaments with her daughter and, family. It's like been the holidays. And, always after the holidays, there's always like a busyness with other things in your life, picking up things in the new year. And that, there's some of that going on with her too. Let's see. Fiercey saying at Stargate, they've been partying everywhere they go. Laugh out loud. All good. Coach Mazzola was hella annoyed. We broke his perfect record against the Raptors. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we hadn't beat Coach Joe until last night. Wow. Thanks for reminding me of that. Honestly, I'm going to give you a dunk for that because I didn't even think about that. We hadn't beat Mazzola yet as the coach of the Celtics. He had beaten us every time that's fantastic. There's your 6 dunks for Fiercey's second one of the year. Right there, yeah. G saying Davion's interview was great too. RJ asked the reporter, "What kind of question is that? Are we 2-0 when Davion starts? His defense is so key." No, we're not that record when he starts because there were a lot of starts for him at the beginning of the year. G, that are losses, so we can't say that he's 2-0 starting. He's 2-0 on this recent stint, yes, but all the starts he had in November, that record's not very good. Because you got to think about that. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, the interviews were awesome last night. Davion especially. In some ways, it's interesting to hear the way his brain thinks and the way he kind of looks at the whole thing. And like they gave him a question where they're like, how do you feel about being in and out of the rotation and not utilized all the time? And like some nights you're not getting to play. He said this. He said the most professional answer ever. He's like, look, I play basketball. I get paid to play basketball. It's not up to me when I play or not. The coach decides, and I have to be just ready and prepared at any time. And the other thing he revealed is, and we knew this, that the Raptors let the players know in advance whether they're going to play the next day or not. Like seriously, they tell them the day before. Like they figure out some of this stuff before. You'd be shocked. And Davion said, like, yeah, the Raptors will tell me on days when I'm not going to play so I can get extra workouts in around it, like extra shooting and stuff like that, and not save my energy for the game and then not play. And he said other places they didn't do this, Sacramento. So he's very happy about that. He doesn't mind being in and out of the lineup as long as the Raptors are communicative to him about what his status is. And then he can go into his own individual workouts and do the supplementary more workouts if he isn't going to be playing around that time. So, yeah, it was a really, really good interview by Davion. Yeah. Trevor's saying last time the Raptors beat the Celtics was in 2022. Yeah, I mean, I can count preseason wins, right? We beat them twice in the preseason since then, and then now to last night. So, yeah. Fiercely saying, I'm good, Smooth. There you go. There's a little heart. Yeah, I'm so happy MJ's back. There was a void. I'm going to say this right now. There was a void without you here. I'm not going to lie. Gerald's saying probably my favorite Davion and Shed game up to this point. Well, them together, I mean, it's really interesting. Like, Davion, I can tell how he's such a good person to have around for Emmanuel and Shed. I just can tell because it's a real mentality thing with Davion. It's a real mentality. It's a mentality. It's up here. And the way he carries himself and the way he thinks is what it's about, man. It's right there. Yeah. Trevor's saying Yak got the chain last night. I love seeing that. Yeah. He's an unsung guy. I know the team really loves him. In some ways, he's just a bucket. In some ways, some of the stuff he does is goofy. Yeah, he did something last night other than like it was a play that he did, and it was like, holy crap, Jakob just did like a move like a guard would do. And I was like, what? And his teammates are probably going to see that highlight of him doing that, and they'd be like, what did you do there, Yak? Holy crap. Because like it was a very athletic move for a guy his size. And I was like, wow, because there is a lot of run into the rim by Jakob right now, and some very interesting, wild layups and stuff going on with him that are just really cool to see, man. I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, Jimmy's saying I love seeing Scotty getting the fans hyped in the Raptors Insta comments. That's awesome. Yeah, Scotty's been putting in little comments in social media here and there in different places. And he is really taking ownership of being the head of this team. And he really is feeling it all emotionally. That's the great thing. Sometimes you can have a franchise player and they're aloof and they're kind of like not showing like their emotions. Scotty just can't help it. He's authentically him and he's going to show his emotions. And with the success coming right now, we're seeing what Scotty's emotions are around success, and they're awesome. It's really rewarding for him to get those those expressions on the court of yelling and flexing and getting really hyped up, and then getting the crowd with him on that. It's so awesome. It is so awesome, Jimmy. So awesome. Yeah. G saying when we play the Celtics, Yak goes full Shaquille O'Neal. You call him Shaquille O'Neal. Just don't shoot free throws like him. All right, G, you're going to get a dunk for using the words Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal. Come on now. 15 dunks for a G, the original Raptor Freak champion of trivia. That's right. Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, he has had some huge games. That's a weird thing, too. It's like the adjustment from the first game against the Celtics. The first game of the Celtics, Jakob ate their lunch. Absolutely. Mopped the floor with them in Boston, but we still lost by the buzzer beater at the end by Jason Tatum, but a very close overtime game. And so Coach Joe made the change to guard Jakob way better in the game on New Year's Eve. And it was very effective. Jakob did not play well in New Year's Eve, and that's part of the reason why that game was so ugly for the Boston Celtics. Well, I guess Coach Joe didn't bring the adjustments that he did for New Year's Eve game to this game last night because Shaquille O'Neal was back. Yeah, he was back. They played Jakob so much better on New Year's Eve than the game last night. It all went out the window. It's awesome. Isaac's here, the benevolent one from Ottawa. I'm so happy to see Isaac back. We got a lot of Raptor Freak originals showing up this morning. Yak waving to his mom after getting the chain made my day. He's a weird guy, man. I try to understand Jakob, but I just can't. In some ways, he's just very simple, and he's just him. He's just him. In some ways, he's a lot like OG in some weird ways, right? Don't y'all feel like he's like a weird, aloof, kind of weird person, like kind of like OG in some ways, although he doesn't have the weird comments and weirdness in interviews as much. But there's a little bit of weirdness like OG with Jakob Poeltl. Seriously, a little bit of weird. Yeah. Fiercely saying, I saw Jakob display emotion. It was nice to witness. Yeah, I was so happy. I wrote him a nice note on the Facebook post that he had after the game last night. Jakob Poeltl, you were just cool, man. In some ways, you're really like not trying to go for accolades and adulation. You're just a workman, and you do things in a workman way, and you do a fantastic job. This is what Jakob said about the game in his write-up for last night. 110-97 home win against the Boston Celtics with an exclamation point. After a solid first half, we played a fantastic third quarter offensively and held them to just 15 points in the fourth, playing very good defense individually and as a team. JP19 Toronto Raptors. And I wrote him a message saying, really strong team effort at both ends. Thank you for the hard work and a very entertaining game. So much promise for this Raptors roster. I appreciate how you are attacking the basket in recent games. Blessings and luck to Yak and the rest of the Raptors. There you go. Yeah, Yak is he's such an interesting dude. He's the only Austrian player in the history of the NBA, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, seeing his emotions. Fiercely saying he's always calm on the court. Nice to see him scream. Yeah, at a certain point, you're just like, you got to let it out after all the losing. And then, boom, good things happen. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. What great back-to-back dubs. Happy for the guys. It will boost their ego. Congrats to the team. Yeah, it's like I said, it's like a snowball. We get an avalanche of success going with more and more W's. These guys will start feeling good. They'll get some swagger. And they'll start feeling in the zone, and they'll start playing off each other even better. We really do have a very cool assembly of talent right now. In one way that we need to give a lot of credit to Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri for how they've turned this roster over so quickly. Like if you think about where we were like a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago with all the long arm monsters. And like, there was a lot of the things I talked about on this channel were about the confusion about who was supposed to do what job, because we had so many all around players with Pascal and OG and Precious and Scotty. It was really confusing whose job roles are what. Well, now with the roster that we have that Bobby and Messiah built in the last 2 years, it's a lot clearer whose jobs are what, right? So it's a lot easier to figure out accountability, and it's a lot easier to get those roles performed and done when people that you have that are specialty people for those jobs, and not just big all around 6'7", 6'8" guys that can do everything on the court, and they're just kind of do this random task. Well, you see how it is when you have the role players of the roles on the court. Kelly Olynyk's a backup center. He's going to be expected to do this and this. Jamal Shed is a backup point guard. He's going to be expected to do this and this. Davion's a defensive stopper and defensive specialist and a sometimes starting point guard when needed. He's going to be expected to do this and this as his job roles. So all that's delineated a lot more clearly and it's more successfully getting done because of that. And that's part of the refreshing thing about what's going on with our team. We have very talented players with different talents that they're doing the different jobs, and we're seeing them filled in. Osha has his role. He's a stopper on defense. He hits some threes, and he's attacking the rim and being a very, very athletic kind of defender in different ways too. You know, all these guys are different puzzle pieces, and they fit in different ways with each other to do things really well. RJ plays off of Scotty like that. Scotty plays off of RJ like that. Gray is this kind of piece. You know, it's very, very fun and to watch a team that actually has roles, because that's the traditional way to play the NBA is that, you know, you're the starting point guard. You're the backup point guard. You're the sixth man that comes off the bench as the first wing. You're the starting center. You're Scotty Barnes, the franchise face, and the person who's going to be in the middle and center of it all. You know, that's important to have that. And that was part of the confusion and the weirdness of the last couple of years of Nick Nurse, was it was so damn murky about who the fuck was supposed to be doing what. And nobody was doing some of the stuff because it could have been anybody's job, but it fell through and nobody did it. So that's one of the things I love about this new team and the way we built it. And kudos to Masai and Bobby for switching the team around in a very efficient, timely way to get to this point. They really are cerebral and smart in their planning and their ideas for who they're bringing in to us. They really, really are. And that's why we're not having as many duds coming in and saying, oh, this guy's not fitting. We need to bump him out and start with a new guy. You know, there's a lot of teams that are doing this, shuffling through different players around their superstars, try and figure out who's the fit with them. And well, we're getting them right. We're getting them right. It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Nako's saying worst month of the season into the best week of the season. I saw Nick blow up on the ref, and he looked like such a nerd. Darko didn't when he blew up on the ref. You say Nick Nurse looks like a nerd? Oh, come on, man. No, Darko was awesome when he went off on the ref there. Yeah, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's always darkest before the dawn. In some ways, you got to go through that really, really bad stuff around Christmas to get to this good stuff this week. And that's just part of it. Jimmy's saying Sixers still out of this playoff picture. Laugh out loud. Are they? I don't know. I haven't really looked at them in a while. Let me go look at the standings real quick and see what was going on there so that I can tell you for sure. Yeah, they're still out. They're just on the outside underneath Chicago. Yeah, it is what it is, man. I mean, they've had such a bad start, and in some ways it is what it is. I don't care. I'm not going to look at them too much. Neil saying, big up, Raptor Freaks. Good, big up to you. Guys, I don't know if we're going to go to the game on Sunday. I'm not getting a very overwhelming response about going. I have checked with a couple people that said they were interested in going, but it may be that we're canceling the game this weekend because it just seems like nobody's that interested in going. So, Neil, if you are interested in going, you need to talk to me right now, either in the chat or online or something to figure this out, or through the phone even. You could call, you can message me because I'm not sure if we're going to go to the game because I'm not getting, there's not really a response to from anybody about wanting to go. So I think that I might just stay at home and watch it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I got to check with Sue because Sue was saying she wanted to go. And if Sue wants to go, I'll go. But if she's not wanting to go and nobody else is showing up, then maybe I might not be going out there, just so y'all know. Stargate saying Sixers are low-key tanking. I don't know if they're actually tanking on purpose or they're just a bad team, and that's what's happening. Fiercely saying, I saw comments on a pizza party. I was like, no, not that bad joke again. It was never a pizza party. That was just other people dissing us and making us seem like we're low class. No, it was a fine, fancy dinner of steaks and lobster. And anybody who wants the truth, come to the Raptor Streak channel. We'll tell you the truth about things. When they got their 3 games in a row, it was private. They didn't show anybody. They went to a very high class restaurant and they had very fine dining and they had very, very good steaks. So that's just the damn truth, y'all. For everybody's out there making pizza party jokes and pizza party this, pizza party that, just stop. It's belittling to our franchise, and it's not the truth. We did not have a pizza party. I don't know why my phone's ringing. I don't know. I'll let it ring for a little bit. There's a little bit of background noise here. Let's see. Smooth saying Sixers lottery pick is 1 to 6 protected and 7 onwards conveys to Oklahoma City. That's interesting right there. So if the Sixers do really bad, it doesn't matter. They may still give their pick to Oklahoma City. Oh, let's see if that gets driven to that point in the standings where the Sixers are so bad, but they're just not bad enough that they're going to have to give their pick. Wow. Wow. Right now, it looks like they're right around there. So who knows where they're going to land? Naka's saying we scouted PJ last year. Dude put up 40 something the other day. PJ Hall for Grand Rapids Gold. Okay. Okay. Well, there's not very many names on there. They're recognizable to me. Funk and Hall are the two. And but I'm going to say this right now: 905 should kick their ass, especially since Jacoby's with them. Think about that. They got Jacoby Walter, Jonathan Mobo. All those guys are there except for Battle. He's the only one who's not there right now. They got Jacoby, Jonathan, Ulrich, Eugene, AJ. Yeah, those guys are all in Michigan to play tonight, 7 o'clock. The referees for the game tonight. Let me do this real quick. Referees for our game tonight against Grand Rapids Gold. Jenna Renault is the crew chief, number 77. Biniam Maru is number 44 is the referee, and Caitlin Versosa is the umpire, number 23. Yeah, of course, the Denver Nuggets have their G League team in Michigan, which is kind of a little further from Colorado. It's closer to us. And that's why sometimes we're playing the Nuggets G League team more often in our schedule is because of the proximity of Michigan to Canada. So that's why we're playing them. And I think we go to Grand Rapids again later this season and play a second game against their team in their home arena twice. So we're going to play them twice. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Fiercely saying Zach Edey posterized Wemby yesterday. Ooh. Everybody in San Antonio land's upset because they lost to the Grizzlies. And they're saying, why can't we beat the Grizzlies? That's what Spurs fans are saying. Fiercely saying, when I saw Battle was there as opposed to the others, I automatically thought 3-point shootout to match the Celtics. Exactly. We got to have that firepower to match with them, but it didn't matter. In fact, let's do the team stats real quick. Because honestly, that's an interesting part of what happened last night that is very telling. The Raptors shot 51% from the field. Meanwhile, the Celtics only shot below 40. So that's a huge factor right there. They may have got more shots on goal, but they did not make more shots than us. We made 9 more field goals than them, even though they had 2 more attempts. So that's fantastic. The 3-point discrepancy was nothing like New Year's Eve. 16 3-pointers for the Celtics. Meanwhile, we had 11 3-pointers. So only 5 more threes for them. That's pretty good. The free throw line was a problem for both teams. In fact, it was comical what was happening to the Celtics with the 3-point line in the fourth quarter. This is the champions of the NBA, and y'all are going to miss so many damn free throws right at the end of the game. Jason Tatum. It's crazy. They shot 50% at the free throw line, and they're the NBA champions. In the past, that kind of bullshit would not be tolerated in the NBA because the champion's supposed to be a certain quality. And this is part of the reason why people think the NBA sucks is because championship teams should not ever shoot 50% in a game in the NBA. I'm sorry. They should have more excellence than this. And them being 9 for 18 from free throws is absolutely dreadful. And it was crazy. Maybe the Raptors fans that were sitting behind the court we're really getting to them with their little noisemakers. Maybe that was what was happening because they were really bad with those free throws late in the game, and the crowd may be doing that, or maybe they were just hungover. Maybe Drake got them really drunk, and well, Jason Tatum just couldn't concentrate on doing his free throws late in the game. I mean, that could be what it is. I hope Celtics fans are watching me today and actually listen to what I'm saying. Yeah, Jason Tatum went and got drunk in Toronto and lost y'all the game last night. How about that? We did out rebound them plus 10 on the rebounds last night. That's fantastic. The assists plus 11, 35 assists is such a good number. I love that number so much. We're really, really connected and really, really making good stuff happen. Turnovers, we had 2 more turnovers than them, but only 11 turnovers for the game. Fast break points, 18 to their 5. And the points in the paint, we beat them by plus 20, 60-40 on the points in the paint. Really, really good stuff. Really, 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 really good stuff. Yeah. Jimmy saying, I'm still kind of salty. Edie chose not to play in the Olympics. Not going to lie. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I understood why he did it at that time. And in some ways, it really is because, you got to understand the Olympics and Canada stuff is kind of every 4 years. It's like every 2 years, maybe, or every, that's it. They're going to have a very important tournament every 2 years or so. And a FIBA World Cup and the Olympics are really the two. And, well, the thing about it is Zach is going to be playing for the Grizzlies every year. And in some ways also, I hate to say it, but it's selfish in some ways, yeah. But he has to be because he's a rookie. He's going in the NBA, and he can't be behind on his rookie development by missing training camp and summer league for the Grizzlies. So it's really kind of important that he did go to Memphis for the summer league and didn't play for us last summer in Paris. I don't know how much he would have actually played in Paris also. That's the other thing you got to understand. He didn't play a whole lot in the World Cup. He was the backup center at the end of the bench that kind of came out for garbage time. And I don't know if Jordi Fernandez was ready to utilize Zach Edey in a major way that would have made it worthwhile for him to go to Paris. So I'm fine with what he did because on the promise that the skills and the things that he does with the Grizzlies in development and getting better for their franchise will be helpful for Team Canada when he returns to wear the red and white. So not this cycle. This is the return of the Team Canada to men's basketball at the Olympic level. There's going to be more of this. And in some ways, we're thinking long-term with Zach. We can't go back and change it now. And in some ways, maybe him going to training camp and summer league for the Grizzlies has helped him in his rookie year to be the way he is right now. So we got to think about it that way. I can't get mad at him for this. I understand. It's his life. He has only one to live. And in some ways, your rookie year and your NBA year is very important to take to the league so that you can stay established as a pro for long term. And if he screwed around, went to the Paris Olympics, played for us, and God forbid got hurt, and it screwed up his whole entire rookie year, that could have been a big problem for him taking to the NBA and being a long-term NBA vet. So there's a lot to this, Jimmy. In some ways, the promise of the future of him in a Canadian uniform is okay for me to be okay with it. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. Blackhawks saying the rookies playing on 905 is always a good thing because they move to starter role and focus on their offense. Yeah. I kind of wish Shed was there, but I understand why he isn't. It's probably because Emmanuel's not here. And that's what it is. They want the 2-point guard depth. Davion and whoever's available. Emmanuel's not available. Okay, Jamal, you're bumped up. You're not going to 905. You're going to be playing with the big squad as the backup point guard after Mitchell. So I get it. In some ways, I wish Shed was in Grand Rapids, but because Emmanuel's out right now, that's what it is right there. Yeah. Blackhawks saying the 905 will open Mobo's game. Yeah. I mean, he's shown a little bit of signs in the last couple games that he's getting a little bit more offensive opportunities. And we'll just have to see where he goes with that. It could be just little blips, a game that he just happened to get more opportunities because the ball bounced his way. But we'll have to see if they do try and focus on giving the ball to Mobo and seeing what he can do and work on the offensive end more and more. But it's not a priority. Let's just put it that way. In some ways, yeah, they do want to develop him to be the best potential player that he can be, but not at the detriment to other things that we've got going on with our team, especially if, he's a kid from San Francisco. And, I don't know. We'll have to see. Anything's possible. This is what I'll say. Anything is possible. Let's look at Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher didn't even play last night, guys. And y'all are not upset about this at all, are you? Are you upset that Chris didn't play last night? No, I'm not upset that Chris didn't play last night because, wait, no, he did play. Sorry, I'm wrong. He did play last night. I don't know why I thought that. Let's do the rest of the box score. Kelly Olynyk, 17 minutes last night, 1 of 3 from the field, 1 of 1 from 3, 4 of 4 free throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, +6 with 7 points. Chris did play last night. He just wasn't so paramount like he usually is. He's an honorable mention for me because he did have an incredible plus minus, the second highest after Davion, a +13. 9 rebounds for Chris, 2 of 7 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 turnover, 5 points. Yeah, he just wasn't as paramount and big as he's been in recent games. That's what made me think of this. Now, what I want to say about Chris is real quick. Some of the stuff that Chris has done recently, like fourth quarter against Golden State on Monday, he did get to live his dream of being like Kevin Durant. After the Cleveland debacle in Boxing Day, where him and Utah and Delano got their ass kicked by the Cavaliers and Kevin Love a couple years ago, he realized he couldn't be a superstar franchise player in this league like Kevin Durant. He gave up on that dream. But in some ways, he's come around and gotten it a little bit in the last week because of the way he's been utilized and been so focal, and he's been so high efficiency, and he's been so overwhelming. So, Chris, I want to say this right now. Some of the stuff you did on Monday night in the fourth quarter, that was Kevin Durant-esque. And I want to tell you that you did do it, man. You made it. That you have achieved the level of, at least briefly for a period of time, of being a superstar level like Kevin Durant on the NBA level. And that's fantastic. That's 17 points in the fourth quarter was very Kevin Durant-esque. Let's just put it that way. So I wanted to give Chris that real quick. Jamison Battle came out for 4 minutes last night, missed 2 threes, and got 2 rebounds and assists, +4 with 0 points. Yeah, he was off. He was off. They got him out there. They tried him a bit, but he was off, and he was a little bit of a liability. So he really got the short shift and got the hook very early. Bruce Brown was out there. He was a mixed bag. In some ways, he pisses me off. I feel like Bruce Brown is still trying to sabotage us because sometimes it's either like a turnover or like there was one point where he wasn't even trying to rebound. It was late in the game, and the Celtics kept getting 3-point shots. And I'm like, Bruce, why don't you run over and get the rebound? He wasn't even trying. And it also seemed like at times some of the players on our team are avoiding passing the ball to Bruce right now. And in some ways, he's the anomaly in the whole scheme of things of being connected and everybody trusting each other. I feel like the players don't trust Bruce because Scotty had a lot of opportunities to throw the ball to him, and he passed them up. I'm just saying. 3 for 9 for Bruce Brown, so he had some success. He missed both his threes, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 4 offensive rebounds, which I like that, 7 altogether. +2 with 7 points for Bruce Brown last night. Not totally horrible. Ochai Agbaji got an injury last night. It was a little bit of a mystery and a weird one. 12 minutes for him, 2 of 5 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He was really playing well while he was out there. And then a weird freak accident happened where he was falling to the floor and he hit his finger on Peyton Pritchard's sneaker, and he cut his index finger open on something on his shoe. That's where the injury happened. It wasn't up high with the ball. It was when Ochai was falling forward. He put his hand out to catch himself, and he caught the edge of Pritchard's shoe, and something on his shoe sliced his finger. Now, they're saying that he had a slice on his hand already that kind of got reopened, and that he had 3 stitches when he left the game. So Ochai bleeding all over the court was kind of interesting. Mark Davis playing spot to spot for a little while there. It was a little mini game in the middle of the game where people were walking around the court looking for blood spots and trying to wipe them up. That was kind of interesting. The NBA is so weird, man. You always see such weird shit sometimes, like shit that you never ever seen before. And you're like, holy crap, I've never seen this in an NBA game before. And every once in a while, that kind of stuff will happen. So, yeah, it's kind of fun in that kind of way, the unexpected when it happens. So, yeah, I went over the rest of the box score. Garrett did not get to play last night. That's right. Blackhawks saying taking L's is a good sign of where the guys are, and it motivates them to get better. It's like looking in the mirror. Yeah, these guys come from winning kind of attitudes and winning places. Kansas, Grady, Houston with Jamal Shed. These guys come from programs and places of winning, and being a losing team in the NBA is not normal. Often players that come from success in college, they go into bad teams in the NBA, they go through a funk because they're not used to all the losing and how that feels because they were always a winner at every level coming up until the NBA. And that's hard. That's a hard thing to deal with mentally. And that's part of how they sort out who the strong are. They're going to stick around the league. And, well, This is part of what's going on with the Raptors right now. This is part of what's going on. They're looking in the mirror. They know they can do better, and they're not accepting the lower level of achievement. That's right. Smooth saying, Stargate, Sixers pick better be top 6. Otherwise, they're screwed. Woo! That would be so crazy. We'll have to see how that shakes out. It may be similar to what happened with us in the Spurs pick, and maybe a little bit similar to that. Trevor's saying, Scotty, after the game, he signed a lot of autographs for the young fans. He was feeling hyped. In some ways, that kind of game last night, winning like that early in his career would have been, he goes straight home, gets on Twitch immediately, and celebrates with the Twitch family online, like almost immediately. I wish those days were still around. Scotty, of course, has not been on Twitch probably maybe like a half dozen times in the last year and a half at the most, maybe not even that many times. But in the past, he would do that. And he probably wants to have that feeling of connection with the fans. So he stuck around and he signed autographs instead. I love to see that he's more apt to sign autographs. There was a period of time early in his career where he was not about signing things and being around people too much. He's starting to open up, and he's being a little bit more forthright and open with signing stuff. And I like that. I like that he's doing that. Seriously. Stargate saying now the X Spaces fan base is turning on quickly. They just keep moving their vitriol, jump from player to player, from RJ, then to Scotty, now IQ. Every month, these so-called fans shift the hate. That's why I don't like this, man. That's why I'm saying that a lot of the way you will fan is it says more about you and your behavior and your attitude and your feelings about yourself. I'll come back to that every single time. Every single person that's pissed off and being crazy on Spaces, especially after a great win like last night, which is not necessary to get crazy like that. You guys are telling more about yourself than Emmanuel Quickly, because you don't know Emmanuel Quickly. And half the shit you're saying on Spaces is half-assed and out your ass. And I would say this, what you're saying is more a tell on you and yourself. So everybody in Spaces, if you listen to me, then you're a negative person on Spaces. Go get some mental health help. Maybe you need to go call a self-help line or go see somebody and talk about your feelings. And maybe you'll start coming around better and seeing things a little more positively. Yeah, that's crazy, Stargate. I hate to hear that. I'm glad I don't deal with cesspools like that. In some ways, it's sad. It's sad. Those people are so miserable that they can't find joy in a Raptors victory over a Celtics win last night, over the Celtics in a win last night. Yeah, they're stupid. They're stupid. Shere Khan's here. Good to see Shere Khan, the Raptors Tonight MVP, who's not able to go back to Raptors Tonight right now. We want that back, Shere Khan. In some ways, I want that back just for you individually, because I know how much you enjoyed that show. And man, Randy Urban, come on now. Let's bring that show back. We're going to be better soon. And we may need the Raptors Tonight crew back sooner than later. That's what I'm saying. Shere Khan saying 2 moments. First one, when Yak made the layup to push the Raps up by a dozen. And second, Scotty's so hyped up that he lost the ball out of bounds. Those young ones are for real. No lie. Raptor Freak Nation for real. There you go. Salute to you, Shere Khan. Yeah, there were moments in the game that just made you feel good. And just kind of like, man, I love this team. Man, I love the passion. I love the dedication, and I love the commitment, and I love the connectivity is what's happening right now. That's the stuff I love so much. Shere Khan, salute to you. Always happy to have you in my chat with me, man. Stargate saying to a different player. Yeah, they just shift the hate around. And in some ways, that's, once again, just they're miserable people that just want to target, to bully, or be mad at. Is what it is. It's what it is. Nako saying, love all our guards. IQ is still our best guard. It's just true. It's just true. And I mean, I know why these people do this. They see success without somebody and they shit on the person who's not there. And it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Emmanuel is the best point guard we have on this team. Raptor Spaces or whatever, you idiots. You just need to understand this and just trust us on this. And you got to understand the body of work. You got to understand other things. Some of y'all are just too, like, in the moment. That you're not in the moment the right way. You need to be present and in the moment, yes, but not in the way where the moment is everything and all it will be for the rest of forever and eternity. That's the problem. Stay in the moment, be present. Yeah, that's always a good thing to do. Don't stay in the past. Don't be stressed about the future. Stay in the moment, but realize that the moment isn't forever and set in stone forever. That's what the problem is with a lot of these people, is they can't understand the concept of things changing over time, whether it's the Raptors getting better as a team or Emmanuel Quickly getting healthy and returning to the lineup and being absolute badass. So, yeah, that's the problem, Twitter Spaces, you idiots, that you cannot figure out that This is not forever, dummies. Stay present. That's good. But understand the present situation is not static. It is going to change. And that's what I'm going to say right there. Yeah, boom goes the dead. Boom goes there. Boom goes there. Yeah, Nameless saying, I'd like to trade Pat Delaney at the deadline. It's a couple of seconds for Pat Delaney. Why? Why? Why do you want to do that? Seriously, Pat Delaney's fine. You know, I know you guys are making jokes. Pat Delaney's lost everywhere he's been. Whatever. Who cares? He's not losing last night against the Celtics. And if he is our defensive coach, well, his defense did pretty good last night. So I'm like, why? Why, Nameless? We won. We beat the Celtics last night. Why does anybody have a negative comment to come in here today? Is what I would ask you, sir. That's what I would say. Yeah, Trevor's saying that pass behind the back from Scotty Yak was awesome. That's right. That's right. Scotty's TO for TO. Toronto for Toronto. Oh, yeah, the turnover for Toronto at the end. That's what you're calling that. TO for TO. Turnover for Toronto right at the end. Clapping and fired up. I'm telling you, Scott, you need to discover more about your connection with the fans live in the game because it could be something, man. You know, the great wrestlers like Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan, they knew how to play the crowd like a violin. And in some ways, man, if you could get to know that and have that kind of power, you'd be such a powerful, popular NBA player and you'd make more money than you ever believe. I'm telling you right now, connection is money. And Scotty, if you can get this connection with the crowd and become more and more of a fan favorite, you'll be just as popular as Vince Carter. You'll be the most popular player in the NBA. You need to get that magnetism and go with it. You saw that little bolt of it yesterday. You can do this, bro. You can be like a professional wrestler in the NBA, but you need to understand electricity and connection with the crowd and how to get them to eat out of the palm of your hand. Just like Dusty Rhodes would start coming back on Ric Flair. The crowd would go crazy because he'd start doing that. You know, that's what I'm saying. You could do this. You have a move all of a sudden. They got people going crazy. Clap at him, and boom, the crowd ovation. I'm telling you, Scott, you've got the tools. You can do this. And in some ways, don't let it distract you from the important meat and potatoes of what you're doing with your job and your skill set as an NBA player. But realize this is an extra mission that you could get on if you want to. It's right there. I see it. You could cultivate this, and it'd be very, very, very flourishing in the future for you. And I'm telling you, if one of the things is important to you is financial gain, you could become one of the most popular players in the league if you really go into this energy and this direction that I saw last night. I'm serious. It's crazy. Blackhawk saying IQ is being attacked by some of the fan base. When IQ gets 6 games straight, he will prove them wrong. Of course. That's what I'm saying. Y'all go ahead and talk shit about Emmanuel quickly right now. He don't care. He's not listening to you. He doesn't even have anything to do with you. You guys are nobodies. Emmanuel's he's fine. He doesn't hear your toxic shit. You just sound like miserable idiots that can't enjoy a win over the Celtics last night. Is what y'all sound like. Emmanuel's going to come back around. And he's going to prove them all wrong. You're exactly right, Neil. He's going to come back and they're going to be like, holy crap, why did I say those things about Emmanuel? I'm an idiot. Yeah, you are an idiot. And you need to stop talking trash like that. Seriously. Nameless is saying the 2 bounce passes were out of this world. And the first one, RJ dish to Grady, and the behind the back pass from Scotty. Yeah, that's silver platter. And it's high level silver platter. This isn't basic bounce pass or chest pass to a player. No, these are crazy full court long shots that are like Kyle Lowry football passes. These are thread the needle through defensive traffic to a very short target, small target for Grady to catch it and just have enough time to scoop it up and put it in the hoop. You know, this is high level, crazy silver platter stuff that we saw last night with the connections and the assists of the Raptors last night. Really, really high level. Yeah, Kareem saying, not here to put down Pat Delaney, but to boost up. That's right. Pat Delaney is just a down-homey kind of guy. In some ways, he reminds me of a friend of mine. And I don't have any problem with him. You know, Darko talked a little bit about Mary's Andrade in the interview yesterday before the game because he had a Portuguese a reporter that was asking about her role on her coaching staff. And this is what Darko said. And this may let you know something about Pat Delaney real quick. He said, when I found out I was going to be the coach of the Toronto Raptors, I wanted to organize a coaching staff that would be with me and I could trust of people that I've known for a long, long time, that I really get along with and I respect and that I really wanted to work with. And everybody he brought in on his staff was like this, including Pat Delaney. And y'all need to realize that. He said he knew that he needed to get he wanted to get a woman on the staff because this is a trend that's happening in the NBA, and they're trying to be more inclusive and allowing more equality, and having more women involved in coaching in the NBA is fantastic. So, and he was very happy that Andrade was available and she would come and take the job. And, I would say this, Pat Delaney is a good friend of Darko's for a while. And I don't think there's anything wrong with his coaching staff. I mean, seriously, Nameless, in some ways, what you're doing to Pat Delaney is just like what they're doing to Emmanuel on Spaces. What's the point? Why? We're getting success. In some ways, maybe all the years of Pat Delaney being on a bad team in Charlotte and Washington, well, he knows what that side's about. And maybe it's time for him to start having success, is what I'm saying right now. That's right. Blackhawks saying the Celtics have been losing every other game for the past 2 weeks. This is not surprising. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I set up the table yesterday in my preview, and I said that this was a trap game, and the Raptors have a better chance of winning this game than people think, and it came through. It came through. I mean, that's why I do this channel. I want to inform Raptors fans to the best of my ability, and that way, y'all that didn't watch the game last night because you just figured they're gonna lose, will check in with me in the morning first, because I could have told y'all this is a game worth watching because we probably have a good chance to win, and we did. We did. That's right. That's right. Blackhawks saying Raptors need to win tomorrow for us to win 3 in a row. Woo-ha! 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 All right, let's do the Instagram stories real quick. We'll keep moving on this. We're almost at 2 hours. First of all, we got the Raptors 905 with Asian Heritage Month night is coming up. On January the 29th, they're going to be wearing the lantern jerseys that they came out for Chinese New Year. They're okay. They're not as good as the Dragon jerseys last year. But yeah, Asian Heritage Night is going to be January the 9th against the Birmingham Squadron. So y'all get a limited pre-sale bundle, limited time only, limited edition jersey for the game for the Chinese Lanterns. Yeah, there you go. Siakam walking into the arena, looking cool, looking a little less smiley than he was at the beginning of the season, but he's still out there competing and doing his best with his teammates like Miles Turner and the rest. There you go. Davion Mitchell in the OVO Center with a young child and with a big shirt. And I'm not sure what happened there. And there's Mitchell working out. I guess Davion went right to working out last night after the game. Well, he's with the kid. He's working out in the OVO Center with the kid. Let's see. Who else do we have? Emmanuel Quickly's putting on blast the win from last night with the score. Scotty Barnes signing the autographs after the game, like Trevor said. Showing a picture like that for the fam is what it says. And there's that passion. There he is. He reposted the picture of him getting the turnover, of him dribbling, yelling at half court, and just dribbling the ball and losing it. And then 3 seconds still left, and Celtics lose. He's like, get up. He's like, come on, fans. He wants y'all to show appreciation to what they just accomplished. He's like, get up. Are you fired up? Are you not entertained? Is what Scotty's saying there. He's like, come on. Yeah. RJ Barrett, nutmeg pass. Scotty's got that on blast. He's got RJ's pass to Grady. Fantastic play. The dime that he played through to Jakob behind the back. What a dime. Yeah, that was really good, Scott. That's a good highlight. There's his fit coming into the game last night. He did not do the post-game interview. It was RJ and Davion. Good team dub is what Scotty's saying about last night. And there, 38 minutes ago, Scotty's got Cardi out in the backyard, and there's CC too. Wow, CC's big as Cardi at this point. Wow. I always thought that CC would be smaller dog than Cardi, but they're the same size. And we see Scott's backyard in this Instagram story. This just came out 38 minutes ago while I've been on the air, and it's snowing. They're out in the backyard, and the dogs are running around with sticks in Scotty's backyard playing fetch. And that's so cute, man. I love to see the dogs frolicking in the snow. That's so cute. Ulrich Shamshay putting on blast the Raptors win over the Celtics last night. Yeah, there was a Celtics fan at the game with the shirt that has Celtics on there, and he's all upset, and that's the picture. I love that picture. It's awesome. There's Jakob waving with the chain around his neck. Ulrich very, very proud of a mentor of his. Let's be honest. We've seen Jakob mentoring Shamshay recently, and he's very proud of Jakob getting the chain and the victory over the champs last night. So I love to see that. Lloyd is listening to music. He's listening to Marvin Gaye, but he's not posting the Raptors win over the champion Celtics. Come on now, Lloyd, get with it. Put that Scotty highlight up. Let's see him with the pass. Come on. You got to celebrate your friend, Scott. Come on now. Chris Boucher's got Jakob with the chain in the locker room. Happy for his teammate. And also the highlight of Scotty cheering at the end of the game, getting the turnover. The TO for TO is what we're calling it now. There's Zach Edey. This may be the play y'all are talking about where he jammed it on Wemby. Oh, yeah, there it is. Ooh, right on his head. Wow, Zach Edey showing the jam on Wemby and the win, 129 to 115 over the Spurs for the Grizzlies yesterday. Toronto Tempo president Teresa Resch was all over town yesterday. There she is at a Sephora collaboration event doing an interview because the big release of all the Tempo gear this week. They had pop-up shops yesterday, and there's a lot of people getting their gear in the mail and posting it and putting it up on social media. Fantastic stuff. I wish all the success in the world to Teresa and Larry Tannenbaum with Toronto Tempo. And getting their gear out there and on people is a fantastic first baby step in this journey that we're going on with the WNBA right now. So I love seeing it. Draft prep has begun. Okay, let's go. This like there's a player there you're talking to. You're trying to talk to them about coming to play for us. She looks short though. Who is that? Tempo Prez. Who's that? She Lion. I don't know who that is. Is she a point guard? Is she good? RJ Barrett has Scotty getting the turnover for TO at the end of the game on there. We're gonna call it the TO for TO real quick. The dribble yell. Ah! It's almost like dinosaur like in the slow motion. He's like, Godzilla. He's got his arm out. He's like, it's so weird. It's funny. RJ Barrett with his nutmeg pass on his highlights. That great pass. Oh, that was the Oshai, that one. Yeah, there's Yak with the chain getting kudos from RJ on his Instagram. There's Scotty coming in. Come on, baby. And there's the hyped up chain ceremony after the game with Darko yelling at the team in the locker room. They're so happy. I love this so much, man. I love the open gym moments of the chain. It's so cool. Jamal Shed with him posing on the court with the flex with Jaylen Brown behind him in the picture. There's a Jamal Shed shot in the corner. Okay, it was over Cornette. It wasn't over Horford or Porzingis. He shot that crazy shot over Cornette in the corner, that three. It was amazing. Jay Nathan has got that Celtics fan all upset about us beating them on his Instagram. Wubbs showing some behind the scenes something. I don't know where it's Brandon Carlson. He's reposted Brandon Carlson from something. I don't know why. It's DJ Carton too. So it's a picture of DJ Carton, Brandon Carlson, and Jacoby Walter together. Maybe that's to reminisce about their time together on the Raptors in the past year. That maybe there's Jacoby reposting Jakob with the chain also. Matt Devlin, all kinds of highlights from the game. The Scotty Barnes behind the back pass to Jakob is one of them right there. And then he's also got RJ's nutmeg pass. They're calling it a nutmeg pass, but he didn't pass it between somebody's legs. So I don't know if I'd call it a nutmeg pass. The Raptor is doing a handstand on his Instagram. We see Superfan Mo has reposted the Raptor open gym moment of the chain last night. I like that. Tempo has so many stories, so much stuff. I think that it's true that they're going to make the jacket that Teresa's wearing, the Roots jacket, the original item. So if you guys really want to show that you've got original Tempo item, get that Roots Letterman jacket that she's been wearing. That's the iconic original Tempo gear. I'm pretty sure that's what we should determine it as being. Because everything else, there's too much of it. And in some ways, that jacket is the original Tempo gear, the original item, because it's the first one that appeared on television, the facsimile that was brought over to her house. And, she's continuing to wear it. So do that. Go with that, Teresa. That Letterman jacket is the original item because that will bring it value, seriously. And it'll be like the Teresa jacket, too, and the folklore of the history of this young franchise you're building. That would be so cool. I'm not going to do all the stories. They were all over the place. There's so many different people opening boxes and getting stuff. And then the event that they had did go off at Peace Collective last night. They had a fireside chat with Give and Grow. And I could have given the details out there, but I couldn't find them. They're also showing the partnership with PWHL with the WNBA also in the stories here. So much stuff. There's Mariah Amber getting her package of swag for Tempo. Yeah, cool stuff. Good stuff. The stuff looks really clean. I will say this. I say you have too much stuff, but I will say most of it is very, very well designed and fresh graphics and fresh colors and looks. So Tempo, you're doing really good in a lot of different ways. Some ways I'm like, but in a lot of ways you're doing fantastic with the launch of this new franchise. And man, it's not going to be easy, especially when you're doing, some people are doing something that it's like, we haven't really done a whole lot. So we're going, we're trying to learn. on the process while we're doing it. It can be a little difficult sometimes. So yeah, there's let's see. I should get through the rest of these. There's AJ Lawson going into a game from a hotel, and there he is out on he's living that NBA life for his hometown team, and so he's got to be pretty happy. And Norman Powell walking into somewhere with a hoodie on. It was really nice to see Oakley at the game last night, sitting at courtside. Alvin Williams feels a little bit more safe because his old friend 34 is sitting at the court. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Where am I on here? Let's see. Blackhawks saying Raptors need to win tomorrow for us to win 3 in a row. Woo-ha. I could see that possibly happening. We'll see how well we play. Giannis, we're in Milwaukee, though. That's a little bit of a factor. G saying, I've been a big fan of Davion. If everyone tries to get 20 points a game, no one will. We need players locked in on other skill set to balance the team out. Exactly. We're pieces of a puzzle, and the jigsaw fits together in certain ways, and different players are different roles, and they should be sticking to their roles. The more that they do their roles that they're really good at, the more excellence we get in overall play. It's when we had too many players that were all-round players doing stuff that they're not totally mastered and good at, you get in trouble with recent Raptors years. You know, these were great. The long arm monsters, all utility, guys were great, but also in some ways they were not fully efficient at doing certain jobs because they had not mastered them. Just because they were all around great talents that could do anything on the court didn't mean that they did things to the fullest ability that is the right way to do it to help us win. And I think that was part of the learning curve of the long arm monsters Vision 6-9 that the Raptors tried to build around in recent years past. That Bobby Webster's vision had some ideas, but when you went and discovered it, well, this is part of the problem. You got to have the role players play their roles, and they have to be masters at their roles at the NBA level. And Davion Mitchell has a certain mastery of certain roles that is very valuable. Very, very valuable. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Bryce is here. Good to see Bryce checking in from stateside in the Bluegrass State. Good morning, Lex from Raptor Freaks. Beautiful play from our young team and good rotations from Coach Darko. The Celtics should have shot more threes. Maybe they would have had a chance. Once we fine-tune our roster, it's up. Yeah. I think that we do a good job. Like, one of the Achilles heels the Raptors has had on their defense in the past years has been three-point defense, not getting to people and coming at them. And I think part of the success last night was we really did stack them on the line, and they never got comfortable behind the three-point line at all last night. And in some ways, they couldn't do anything down low either. So that's part of the reason why their offense really struggled for most of the game. Fantastic job covering the three-point line last night, Raptors, and taking away the biggest strength that Boston has, because that was a big, big part of it. Yeah, the rotations were great last night. He had to adjust things a little bit because Oshai got hurt and he couldn't come back. And there was an extra shift that was given to Jamison Battle partly because of that. But his five-man rotation off the bench was Kelly, Chris, Bruce, Oshai, and Jamal, with Jamison added just because Oshai got hurt. But yeah, it's an interesting choice every game who he's going to pick to be the 10 players to play for the Raptors. And when those rookie guys are gone, like Jonathan's gone and Jacoby, it's a little bit easier to figure out the 10 like they did last night. Let's see. Nameless saying, I think Davion and Shed both have leveled up in the past month or so. I don't know if Davion has, but Shed is definitely. Davion, in some ways, he's kind of the player he's been, and it's just that we haven't gotten to see him. And it's about when he gets to play, playing time is when we see it, is what I'll say right there. Yeah. Stargate saying, Rocco is slow and weak. Sorry, he ain't ready for the NBA. He will be a project for at least 3 or 4 years. Yeah, I wasn't impressed with him. In some ways, when I look at players, I'm really, really trying to pretend into what would they look like on an NBA court and how do they match up with speed and size either way. Like, whether they're a small player, are they big enough? Are they a big player? Are they fast enough? And in some ways, Rocco didn't pass the eye test for speed in the NBA speed is what I'm saying right here. So Bryce is saying, Lex, I know you just did a report, but please check out Kobe Bray. He best shooter in college ball. He's 6'7", 215, playing at UK right now. Normally I don't do this, and I don't want to encourage this because my stream's going to be 3 hours already. But I'll do it today just because I'm trying, like I said earlier, to be more friendly on the chat with you guys and not be so much saying no, no, no. So I'll do this today, but only for today, guys. Don't try and give me 2 scouts again, because I am trying to cut down on my stream times. But it's going to be a Lexathon today anyway because we beat the Celtics. So I'll go ahead and do a twofer just because we won. But yeah, I'll do this real quick, but I don't want to do like another one for sure. So don't give me another one today, guys. And let's limit to just one per stream. And the other thing I'm going to say is after a couple months, I will do one every day the closer we get to the draft. It's just right now I'm trying to met them out like every other day because it is a segment that adds another like 5-10 minutes to my stream. So I need to be cognizant of that. And in some ways, I am trying to keep as close to the 2 hours as possible. And we're already over 2 hours right now, Bryce, just so you know. Let's see. All right, he goes to Kentucky. Okay, so this is part of the reason why you want me to look at him. He's going to your college in your state. He's from the Bronx. He's 22. He's 6'7". He's 215 pounds. Southeastern Conference. Okay, let's see. He went to Dayton before he came to Kentucky. So he just started at Kentucky just now. Okay, he's a Dominican guy too. He's from Dominican. Okay, all right. 6'7" guard. So he's a guard. He's probably a swing. All right, let's see what he looks like on the YouTube highlights. Hang on, Bray highlights. I want highlights. Yeah, Kobe Bray highlights. All right, well, they'll look at the scoring highlights so far for Kentucky this season is what I'm looking at. Okay. All right, let's see. Where is this guy? Okay, he's coming around the screen. He's at the top of the key. He's got a lot of room. They gave him so much room. It's not a very quick release. He took his time to measure it, though. Okay, that time the guy came up on him, his hand in his face. He still made the three. Pretty good job with the contest in his face. Still made it. He was driving down the lane. He's a little slow with his driving. He's like a power driver, not really a quick driver, which means that may be a problem. That's a nice little step to the side three there on the side. This is him coming up this way. He does a little jab step, goes around the other way, and has a nice little move around the defender to get a layup. That move won't happen in the NBA, though. There's a three, another one. So he's a pretty good catch and shoot three. I don't know. I mean, is this guy actually touted pretty high in the draft, or you just asked me to do this because he's Kentucky? Because I'm not getting the vibes that he's like super impressive. And once again, in some ways, it's just like Duke. If you're on a pretty good team, that's a really good program, and there's a lot of good players around you, you may get a little bit of a plus for being overvalued because the talent you play with is propping you up, is what I'm saying. I don't know, man. This guy's not really seeming that special to me, is what I'm going to say. I'm not trying to break your heart as a Kentucky fan or anything. It's just that I'm not getting vibes from him that like this is a guy that I'm not saying he can't play in the NBA, but it's just a guy that's not that special to me. I don't know why. I don't know. The shot's nice. Okay, some of the three-point shots I'm seeing later in this highlight are pretty good with contesting and people right in their face. But once again, it's like a slow thing, too. Everything's sped up in the NBA. And in some ways, he's very measured and he's taking his own time. But I don't know if he'll get that luxury in the NBA. I don't know if he'll get the luxury to play with the methodical, slower pace that he's playing in because he's not a fast player, this Kobe Bray guy. He's very methodical, kind of like plodding kind of person. He has good footwork. I do like the step around shots around the three-point line, but I worry that this guy plays at his own speed, and unless you're Kyle Anderson or somebody that's similar like him, you may not be able to play in the NBA at your own speed. They may be you have to speed up because you're shorter and just not that kind of player. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this guy. I think that he can shoot threes, but I think a lot of people can these days, and in some ways, that's not that special to me. Anyway, thank you, Bryce, for bringing Kobe Bray to me. And I don't know. In some ways, he's not in the position I'm looking at anyway either. I really do want a power forward or a five. And I mean, he's talented, but I worry he's too slow for the NBA, just so you know. Nameless is saying that ball movement last night will make you shed a little tear. It's just beautiful. You're exactly right. Tre bellissimo, my paisano. Tre bellissimo. That's right. Naka's saying, haven't looked at too many players in the second. Dink is my favorite so far, but he's redundant for us. I don't know who Dink is. Dink? Blackhawk's saying at chatback, the Ivisic brothers are more well-rounded than Rocco. Okay, that's interesting.
I'll have to look at them. I still haven't seen them. Nameless Sand. I don't want anybody named Rocco. He's like, I don't want anybody named Rocco. No. He knows. Nameless, I'm gonna give you a dunk for that. That's really funny. He's always does this thing, like this kind of stuff. He's always doing this. Nameless, you've got your third dunk. You're at 9 now. Blackhawk saying, I see no proof Celtics were partying. However, I've been to Boston and it doesn't compare to Toronto. I find Boston very boring. No, I mean, I heard this before the game that there were reports that Jason Tatum was seen out with Drake the night before the Celtics game. It may not be on social media, but people were talking about it during the day in between the preview yesterday. And I think that somebody did bring it up in our stream yesterday that they may have gone out the night before. So, well, I mean, hey, either way, hey, we need all the advantages we can get. If there's a Toronto home advantage that we have nightlife that gets NBA players to go out before our games the night before, so be it. So be it. That's just how it is. Stargate saying, doesn't Embiid have Bell's palsy as well? He did get it during the playoffs in recent years because he was so beat up and stressed out with his leg, and he took a couple of shots to the face that he did get Bell's palsy from stress, whereas half of his face was paralyzed. That's exactly true. Yeah, Seymour saying, bring back Jonas, give him Bruce. There's some sort of weird rumor about bringing Jonas back here. Why, though? I don't understand that. I mean, I guess it would be nice insurance. It'd be fun to have them together again. It's like they did play together. You know that, right? When Jakob showed up, Jonas was here, and he was an early mentor for him right in the beginning. It'd be weird to see them on the court together. I don't think they'd be on the court together very much. But it'd be weird to see them back on the team together. It'd be very weird. I wouldn't be against it. I could see the promise of it, but Jonas has to come off the bench. And in some ways, that's weird. It's weird. In some ways, if he's really trying to go, like I could see Valanciunas being like this, like where he's like, I'd like to go win a championship and play for the Lakers, but I don't think they're going to win a championship. Or I'd like to go and play for San Antonio or whatever teams like really wanting him right now. As long as they're a team that has a legit chance to win a championship, I could see him wanting to go to that team. I could see him wanting to come back to Toronto, even though we're not in for a championship. I mean, seriously, I think that he loves Toronto. When he came back earlier this season, he had a film festival. He had a documentary that he made, and they had a film screening in Toronto of the Lithuanian community. And he does call Toronto like a home in some ways from all of his years that he was here. So I think it would be real easy for Jonas to come back to Toronto in this situation. Now, is it something we want to do? Like the front office or with our plans? Does it make any sense? Probably not. Probably not. But I mean, I bet you Jonas would do it, even though we're not anywhere near trying to compete for a championship right now. I'll bet you he would do it just for the old memories and just for fun and just because he's that kind of guy. But I don't think he'd go to many bad teams after the Wizards other than us, only because of the personal connection. It's not like he'd say, I want to go to New Orleans, back to New Orleans and be on the Pelicans again. No, he doesn't want to go back to the Pelicans. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Seymour saying, not just Jimmy, but Kyle ripped Heat's organization too. Yeah, Kyle, I mean, whatever. The Miami Heat have been Heat culture for a long, long time. In some ways, some of their arrogance, some of the way their fan base is, it catches up to them at a certain point. I don't know. That's so weird because two of the guys that have been deemed Heat culture before they were even Heat, most in this world have become Heat. And in some ways, they're leaving dishonorably or in a bad taste in their mouth about the Heat organization. What does that say about that? Kyle Lowry in some ways embodied Heat culture for years before he actually went to the Heat. They wanted him so bad. They were very open about it. That the Miami Heat are trying to get Kyle Lowry on that team to play for Spoelstra, and they got it. But then things went like they did. Jimmy Butler could be saying the same thing. So weird, man. That's so weird, man. So weird, yeah. Let's see. Derps is saying biggest win. I'd say this is the biggest win of the season so far this year. Yeah, not the biggest win in franchise history. Hell no. No, the biggest win for this team this year. The last night, Boston. Yeah, because they played the best they've ever played this year. Last night. That's right. Stargate saying, what I didn't like was when Tatum pushed Grady late in the game. Nobody checked him. If Kyle or Serge was on the team, they would have checked Tatum. Somebody should have run up to Tatum. I saw that. It's not that big of a deal, honestly. I mean, in some ways, we got to remember also Jason Tatum's a face of the league, and in some ways, Grady looks up to Jason Tatum. You know, before he came in the league, Jason Tatum was an established pro and did a whole lot of things, and in some ways, he has a reputation. It's just like when LeBron threw the ball off of Scotty in his rookie year. Did Scotty get up and try and attack LeBron? No, because he has respect for LeBron because of his long career. And in some ways, he should be honored that he got LeBron so frustrated he threw the ball at him. Well, that's a similar thing with Grady. I'm sure maybe in some ways Grady's like, ooh, I feel so honored. Jason got mad at me and pushed me down. I mean, I get what you're saying, but don't get it twisted. That Celtics team is not like a big brute team like the Bad Boys or something like that. They're an undersized team, and they don't really have anybody that's out there being a bully. That is just a one little play. Sure, maybe there's a receipt for that, but probably not. I'll take the win over a physical receipt. How about that? I'll take a win over that. That's right. Yeah, I'll take a win over that. Let's see. Blackhawks saying, love JV, but the reunion is not in the cards. Yeah, that's sentimentality talking, and it doesn't make any sense. Seymour saying, Zach Edey's first Canadian to poster Wembanyama, bragging rights. I don't know if is that totally true, Seymour? SGA didn't jump up and dunk it on his head yet either. I mean, I don't know. Do they keep that stat? The first Canadian to posterize Victor Wembanyama. Man, they really have specialty stats at this point. They really do. D-Ice X. D-Ice X is here. Good to see a new name in the chat. Thanks for subscribing. I talk Raptors every single morning, 9:30 a.m., off-season included, every single day of the year. It's 365 days a year. Raptors issues are talked about on this channel every single morning. He's saying, did you see Jalen's post-game interview? It sounded saltier than a McDonald's French fry. Woo! Man, listen, I love Jaylen Brown, first of all. I think Jaylen Brown is honestly, he's the best player on the Celtics. At one point in the fourth quarter, they showed Jaylen Brown staring down the court like he's so in the zone, like he was so pissed that they were losing, and he was like ready to just take over and get crazy and go after it. There was one angle they shot in the game last night where they were shooting up the court from the baseline, and they just happened to catch a steal that he did that was so masterful. You saw the whole way it was set up, and even while you're watching it, because the camera angle was so good in that point with what they were shooting, you're at home watching, and you're like, no, don't do that, because you could see him about to spring into action and get a steal off of our guards. And then they got a really easy layup. It was very interesting to see it from that camera angle at that particular time when the Raptors broadcast was shooting that way. You know the part I'm talking about. Yeah, Jaylen Brown's interesting. Saltier than a McDonald's French fry? That's hilarious, D-Ice. That's hilarious. You going to say stuff like that, I'm going to be all about it. Oh, it wasn't, you mean Jason Tatum, not Jaylen. Yeah, he was. He was a little bit like in his feelings. I did see the Jason one. I didn't see the Jaylen one because I was like, okay, I didn't know that he was salty. You're seeing Jason Tatum was salty. It wasn't even that he's salty. He's more upset with the way his team's playing, and he's understanding that they're playing like shit. He literally said that. We're playing like shit right now. He said that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Seymour's laughing at your joke. Nako's saying Tatum got portrayed better than he deserved in the starting five. Dude's super whiny on the court. He's lazy too. He's very lazy. And that's part of the problem for the Celtics is that they don't want to do it as much as they have to do what they need to do. They will take the easy route and be lazy, and that's going to burn them by the end of this year. Watch. That's going to burn them. Let's see. Blackhawks saying, as Davion said, refs are not going to call every foul, so it's on them to be aggressive. Tatum just applied the same aggressiveness on Grady. Yeah, there's no justice in the league, but, you know, if you listen to what the Celtics fans are saying about the game last night, they hate Mark Davis. They hate Mark Davis. They feel like there were a lot of calls last night that didn't go their way. I loved how diplomatic Mark Davis was with the challenge call that Darko called in the first half. When for some ways we want to make rules for Darko on how he does his challenges, and we say, don't do a challenge in the first half. It's not worth it because you're going to need it in the second half probably at some point. So he does a challenge on this play with Grady taking a charge from Porzingis, and he actually got the challenge successful. But it didn't matter because the Porzingis just made the shot, and they made it a no call, and we got the ball out of bounds. But the important thing was that Darko saved the challenge for later to be able to be used the second time. I think that's the thing that's the most important thing about challenge usage, is understanding if you do the challenge and it's a shaky challenge early where you may not be successful, you're really hurting yourself later by losing the option to have a second challenge. And that's the risk reward of doing challenges. And in some ways, it was very diplomatic of Mark Davis to say, yeah, Grady didn't actually foul him, but there's no call. It's a playthrough, and Kristaps makes the layup. The Raptors get the ball, but the 2 points count for Boston. And the Raptors continue to keep their challenge. So that was a little risky, that challenge. I thought the refs were pretty good last night. Not really in the forefront for too much. Mark Davis not really being too in the middle of it. There was that little bit at the beginning with him and Davion, where Davion was very much right at the beginning trying to set up politicking with Mark Davis, but talking to him about how he's going to do things defensively and hoping to get allowance to have the leash to do some of the stuff he wants to do. And Mark Davis is very matter of fact and very, well, if you're going to do this, I'm going to call this. No, we're going to do this. That's kind of how Mark Davis is. He's very he's military. So he's very by the rules and the books as much as he can be. And Davion tried him and he got a tag because he got his second foul and he didn't like it. And Davion was actually happy about that. After the game, he said, I'm so happy they gave me the 2 fouls early because it kind of set me up for success for the rest of the game. It motivated me. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Very interesting. Smooth saying, Blackhawk, top 5, one of Drake's crew posted pics of him and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown drinking. I'm sure this is true. I'm positive this is true. I'm positive this is true. It is what it is. All right, Trevor's calling for the classic card and the Instagram stories. I did the Instagram story, so I'll do the classic card soon. Seymour saying, tell him take more pics with the visiting team. And Scotty clipping in Tatum's face was hilarious. Yeah, clapping at him. Yeah. Oh, man, in the crowd. Did you hear how the crowd reacted to him doing that? They loved it. They ate it up. That's what I'm saying, Scotty. You can have them eating out of the palm of your hand. Your clapping hand. That's right. Neil saying, SBM doesn't mean they were drunk. I went to a company event last week and only had 1 beer. People can drink responsibly. Celtics lost fair and square. Their record lately shows it. Now, it may be true. You're right that people can go to events and only have 1 drink and stop themselves. Not everybody can, though. Not everybody can. Alcoholics like me can't. And I have 1 drink and I can't stop. I drink 1. I can say, I'm going to go to the bar. I'm going to have 1 drink and I can stop, but I can't. Now, everybody's different. Some people are alcoholics like me and can't do it. And some people can. But I don't know. We don't have further pictures. They could be right, Neil, but you could be right too. But we don't know. In some ways, I mean, if you look at the way they played last night, how flat they were, then just how they never really got into the game last night, it's probably they did drink. They did probably. Because they were probably low energy and they were feeling it in some ways. Who knows? Jason could have been hungover, like I said, at the free throw line, and that's part of the reason why he couldn't concentrate and make late free throws. Seriously, if I was a Celtics fan, I would be thinking about this. Seriously, come watch the Raptors freak react to the game last night and us beating your ass, and come find the reasons why. When you might find some reasons you don't like, and you'd be like, "Oh, Jason Tatum was out drinking in Toronto instead of worrying about the Raptors. What the hell? That's not professional. That's not professional." I don't know though. It's hearsay. We can only speculate how much they drank. But there are pictures of them out with them. There are. Yeah. Smooth saying Blackhawk did not say they were drunk. That's right. It's all good. Let's see. Blackhawk saying fan base was saying the players were tuned out because of the blowouts. It's actually opposite of that. Blowouts made them practice harder. It's exactly right. It's exactly right. There has not been a single moment since Darko has been our coach where I have felt like he has not had the players fully 100% behind him and tuned in and listening to him. There's not been a single damn moment. And think about how many losses we've had in the 1.5 years of Darko so far. Has he lost them at any point? No, he hasn't. He's kept them engaged, enthusiastic, and on task in the idea of what the plan is for the long term. I'm telling you guys, everybody who thinks Darko's a bad coach does not understand what we're doing right now and how fantastic he's been. He's been so good. So good. So good. Yeah. And, if anything, those blowouts, they were embarrassing. And they made them pissed off and made them motivated to get to the point that they were at last night. That's right. That's right. Stargate saying, I agree with Blackhawk. Y'all making excuses for the Celtics. They weren't prepared regardless of previous night activities. Bet you didn't even watch film on the Raptors for this game. They looked lost at times. That could be. That could be. Underestimate your opponent. Take them lightly and see what happens. This is always in sports. How many boxing matches have been weird like this? Where a no-name guy comes out there, and all of a sudden Buster Douglas is a household name. That's what I'm saying. Underestimate your opponent and pay for it in the long run. That's right. Blackhawks said, okay, since the Celtics were not drunk, they got their ass whooped fair and square. It's probably a little bit of everything. We don't know for sure. It's probably bad preparation, maybe a little bit of a late night. It may be the Raptors are surging on their own by themselves without the Celtics in the whole stimuli. The Raptors are just like that right now because they're feeling good and they've had some success and they're going with it. You know, we got to put that into the equation too, guys. Give ourselves some credit for the journey we're on and what we're doing. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Let me keep going in the chat. I love seeing lots and lots of comments. So much good stuff in here today. Lots of good, interesting things being said. And let's see. All right, good. Thanks, guys. And cut off because I have a half an hour to finish everything up that's left here. So yeah, let's see. All right, Blackhawks saying Raptors played Celtics more aggressively, hence the win. Celtics didn't think the Raptors had it in them. Their mistake. Kudos to Yak, Scotty, Oshai, and Davion. You know, one of the things I like about our team right now is it seems like we're deep. Seems like we have good, talented contributors, like 10 deep right now. And some of it really does have to do with the aptitude and the very quick learning of the rookies. I love the stat that Matt Devlin talked about last night, that the Raptors have the most points being scored by players under 25 in the whole entire league. That is amazing. Think about that, guys. Like, we have such a young team, and they're doing it all right now, and they're only going to get older and better. And that's the fantastic thing. The future is so, so freaking bright for the Raptors because they're going to do this. They're so young, and they're doing it at this level already. They're only going to improve. So get ready, Raptors fans. That's right. The future's bright. It's too bright, though, because the snow out there. It's blinding my lights, blinding my eyes. Started saying at Blackhawk, Zubamir is more NBA ready brother of the two, in my opinion. All right, I want to see these Ivicevic brothers. That's right. Fiercely saying Joe Mazzola, so competitive. He played his starters until the final minute. He was really hoping they could win. Well, you know, to be honest, they're the kind of team that has such a barrage of threes and ability to quick score that I wasn't ready to say that the Raptors had won with 4 minutes to go. Even down 12, the Celtics down 12 with 4 minutes to go is dangerous. Trust me, very, very dangerous. And I have to give a lot of credit to the Raptors on how they closed out the game last night because that's when they're hurrying it up and trying to use their championship pedigree to overcome our team at the very end. And we didn't allow it. And in some ways, part of that's getting stops and also continue to score for ourselves. And that's part of it. We got some really good stops in the last 5 minutes of the game. And we continue to score ourselves in the last 5 minutes of the game. And that margin did not get swallowed up. But let's not get it twisted. The Celtics have the capability to score 20 points in like 90 seconds. They could put 20 points on the board in like 2 minutes. And that's why, you know, even in the old NBA, a lead like that with 4 minutes to go is, yeah, they're probably going to win. But the new NBA is so hyper offensive. You can't rest on your laurels with a 12-point lead and 4 minutes to go. You better close that door and make sure you really close it. Sometimes guys will get kind of like a little lethargic at the end because like, oh, we're almost there. And we have this lead, a double-digit lead with 4 minutes. No, it's the Celtics. You can't do that. You have to close the door and play it all the way through the whole 48 because there is a risk there. There really is a risk. And then, yeah, that's why they play them late because they know that they have the ability to make up a lot of points very, very fast with the clock not taking much time off. And that's why right there. Nameless is saying Davion is a fantastic addition. Obviously a long-term fit here, especially the way he's gelled with his teammates. Yeah, the nature of his situation, though, is very flexible, and it will be decided this summer. Now, if he's a one-and-done, one-year Raptor, I mean, I'll understand, and I'll be sad, but also understand that I'll trust in Masai and understand that what we're doing is we're doing, and we have to do it this way. So he's not for sure long term. It's a very flexible situation with Davion Mitchell. And hopefully he is long term because I do want him to be long term. Yeah. Blackhawks saying it looks like Tom is better, but I would draft both of them. Okay. You guys talking about Iviceviches. Yeah. Neil saying, think about it. Shamshay will be better next season, and then having the Ivicevich brothers for depth will rock. That you're supposing a lot happening all in a row. Shamshay thing is fine. You can suppose that. That's in the books. That's going to happen. But getting one of those guys is a little bit of extra supposing. I think that it's true. This is something that Raptors fans need to think about. Next year is very likely Ulrich Shamshay is going to be somewhere on the horizon of the Raptors' main roster rotation. Now, what level and how far he's going to be will be very interesting. But it may be also he's another year in G League more heavy in there too also. Because we're going to have to remember next year he'll be turning 20 this year at the end of the year. So, yeah, it's tough. I don't know. We'll have to see. But Shamshay's going to be emerging into the Raptors' main rotation in the coming years, and it's going to be amazing. You guys are going to be so happy because the stuff I'm seeing he's doing in 905 right now is so good, and it's going to be so helpful to the Raptors on the main level. It's really, really going to be good. It's really, really going to be good. Let's see. Name is saying everywhere Porzingis went, he was always around injuries. Yeah, but also he was a problem too. Like in New York, he didn't fit personality-wise. Maybe he was a young knucklehead, and he rubbed people the wrong way. People didn't like him. And when he went to Dallas, he started to pal around. But him and Luka never really were that close. And that's weird because Luka's such a pally kind of guy, a happy-go-lucky guy. Him and Kyrie have a bond. But it didn't seem like him and Porzingis ever had a bond. Like, he's a prickly dude. He's a very prickly guy and not very, like, I don't think he has a lot in common with average NBA players. Like, if you really think about it, in some ways, he's a weird dude. I don't know. There's weird things about him. I've noticed this whole entire career. Blackhawks saying whether Porzingis put up a yak nullified it with his performance. Yeah. I mean, Porzingis, if we really want to look at this matchup specifically and look at what they did, Jakob was 16 points, Porzingis 18 points. Yak shot better than him. Yeah, of course, Porzingis had 4 threes, which is annoying. But Yak, neither one of them really got the free throw line. Porzingis missed 2 free throws. 8 rebounds for Porzingis, 11 for Yak. 2 assists for Yak, 3 for Porzingis. It was pretty even. They did nullify. He nullified him for sure, and that's one of the things that's good because they didn't have a Porzingis advantage. Jakob nullified him. That's right. Neil's saying, I disagree, Lex. Celtics will very likely get out of the first and second rounds. They can go deep regardless of Porzingis. Well, we'll see. This is what the great thing is about predicting stuff. I think the Celtics will go out. I don't think they'll go out in the first round. I think they'll go out in the second round to a team like Milwaukee or Cleveland. Yeah, I think they will. Seriously. I think this year that if Porzingis is healthy from the start of the playoffs, I'm going to make this prediction right now. I'm standing on it. You can disagree with me. We're going to see who's right. We'll see who's right down the road. All right, Randolph is here. Good morning, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. Blessings. Every day is an opportunity to live your best life yet. Be intentional about living to the fullest. Aim at being good in all you do. There you go. I like that. Blessings. Thank you, Randolph. Blessings to Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. And was saying, what? Less overly harsh on comments? No, I don't believe it. Never. Listen, I get it, man. At some point, somebody's gonna say something that's gonna piss me off. And each one of you have done it, and I feel bad. Because in some ways I get it. It's part of why y'all like to watch me is because I'm feisty and opinionated and passionate. But also at the same time, you don't need to be a dick, Lex. You kind of need to be more happy and nice and not maybe like in some ways you just need to stop like being disrespectful. I think that's the biggest thing that I need to do. So I'm really going to try and work on this. Really, really, really try and work on this. Yeah. Fiercely saying thank you, Lex. Yeah. Also caught a bad cold in tournament season. Thanks to the RFF family and missed you as well. See, she had a lot of things going on. It was just a perfect little time for her to take a little break. And, I get it. This is a grind. I do this every day, and I love the people that are here every day with me, people like Trevor. But, I don't expect everybody to be here every single day, and people are going to pop in and out. There's going to be a regular cast that's here most of the time, but they're not going to be here 100% of the time. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be a mandatory thing that everybody has to be here every morning. But I like as much as you guys can. That's for sure. Trucker Kaz is here. Good morning, y'all. Joined late, but big W last night. Let's go. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful win. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, if you didn't watch the game, definitely people need to watch it and go back and watch it. It's worth watching. It's a lot more fun. Blackhawks saying Jakob is showing more growth, even though he's in his 30s. He's still developing. It's true. It's true. He really is continuing to learn. It's weird because big men usually have a growth pattern that's very weird. It's like big men usually take a longer time to develop, which is true, and this did happen with Jakob to a degree. And then they usually develop, and it all happens, and then boom, that's just who they are. And then they'll do all their development as who they are in their first 5 years of their career. So having development in Jakob's career in this 9th year is really kind of crazy in some ways, because most big men are limited with the learning and developing, and they don't do this. This is a kind of a rare thing with Jakob showing so much more right now. All of a sudden, it's crazy. It's so crazy. And in some ways, for Raptors fans, it's a weird perspective because we got his rookie years, his first few years in the league, watching him, and then he went away to San Antonio, and he probably learned a whole bunch of some of the stuff we are seeing now. It's just that we aren't familiar with it because he was doing it more while he was down there. And now we're seeing it more in play right now. There was some stuff where he drove the basket and did some stuff down there with Popovich, but not like what he's doing right this second, though. That stuff last night was amazing in some ways. Very, very cool. Trevor's saying John Morant's dunk on Victor. It was crazy. He dunked on him too. Yeah, he's not Canadian, though. Stargate saying for the rest of the month, the Raptors play the Bucks, the Magic, the Hawks twice, the Pelicans, the Wizards, and the Bulls to close out the month. 3 and 4 in the stretch. I'd be cool with it. I want to do better, honestly. I mean, this is what I'll say. We're going to be in Atlanta for 2 games in a row, and that's a weird thing. Hopefully no nightlife in Atlanta. Don't do what Jason and Jalen did here in the Atlanta Raptors. I want to win at least one of those 2 games against the Hawks. We need to split one of those 2. It'd be great if we could win both of them. It's not likely. But if we can split and get at least one of those, that's fantastic. We absolutely need to beat the Pelicans, the Wizards, and the Bulls, because the Bulls shouldn't have beat us the last time we beat them. And the way we're playing right now is way better than the Bulls. We need to smash the Bulls because we owe them one. Seriously, we owe them one. Now, the other games, those games, when I look at it, it's like, okay, the Bucks, the Magic, and the Hawks, one of those games, those are 3 games I'm okay with losing. But we could win against Milwaukee on Friday, and that will change everything right there. Magic, we owe them too. We owe them too because we should have beat them without all their guys. I know Banchero's come back since then, and it'll be tougher to beat the Magic this next time we play them. But I believe in them. And in some ways, it doesn't matter. They had Porzingis back last night, and we beat the Celtics. So have Banchero back. It doesn't matter. We're going to beat them. We're going to beat them. That's what I want to see. I want to do better than that record. Let's get a winning record. And seriously, when we see New Orleans and Washington at the end of this month, that really signifies we're starting to get the very easy part of our schedule. Really, really does. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor's giving me a cutoff. I appreciate that. And Randolph saying, Lex, what's your thoughts on the Hornets trade with the Suns yesterday? I think the Hornets got a lot. Good trade. I didn't see the specifics of it exactly. I'll go look at it really fast, real quick for you, Randolph. I saw that Nick Richards is now a Phoenix Sun. That was the biggest name in the deal, I believe, but I didn't see what came back the other way. Let me just look at it, and I'll do a reaction. Okay, so Nick Richards and a second-round pick to the Suns for Josh Okogie and 3 second-round picks is the deal. I'm not that familiar with Josh Okogie. I'm really not. I am familiar with Nick Richards. So I can say that, that's a good add-on for the Phoenix Suns, but the Phoenix Suns really need to try and figure out what the hell they're doing with their team. They're going to have to move somebody, and it may be Kevin Durant, honestly. Maybe Kevin Durant that's getting traded out of there next. So you think that the Hornets got a lot because of the second-round picks, right? Interesting. Fiercely saying, Oshai got 3 stitches on his finger. What is the recovery time for these kinds of injuries? He shouldn't miss a game, honestly, because if it's just on his index finger and it's just 3 stitches on the side of it, they can wrap it, and he can continue to play. He shouldn't miss a game, honestly. That's normal for that kind of stuff. Now, if it's a really serious cut and it's affecting like his ability to do stuff, it was his left hand, right? No, it was his right. It depends on whether it's his dominant or non-dominant hand. And then the other thing it has to do is it affecting his shooting? Does it hurt? Does it have an infection? Those are the other things. But most of the time with the stitches and a thing like this is wrap it up. He can play the next game, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Seymour saying, I love you, MJ, eye candy. There you go. There you go. I love it. I love to see the love. Wayne saying, morning, Raptor Freaks. I'm giving flowers to the smartest Raptors player, in my humble opinion, Jakob Poeltl. We will win a lot more games when his teammates realize that he needs to be involved to win. Yeah, I think they all need to be involved to win. I think that the biggest thing, the takeaway from last night is it was a team effort, and a team effort, a solid team effort throughout the whole lineup. And Darko said that after the game. He's so proud of his team and the team effort he got from the whole entire team. He said he was very, very proud of them last night. And sometimes, Darko's not like that in the press conference where he gives like a shine, but he was saying that he was extremely proud with the overall team effort and the connection that the Raptors showed last night. Blackhawk saying, normally I would go, Lex, but I'm in the middle of a move right now. I use the weekends to get many of my things in storage. Okay. See, that in some ways that's telling me, man, maybe we should skip this one, because in some ways, it's a haul for me to get over to Paramount. And like I said, it's just like I got more interest in going the last time we went than this time. I'm not really getting a whole lot of people saying, yeah, let's go to the Valley Suns right now. So, what I might do, guys, actually, how about this? Let's see if this is interesting to you guys. What if I do this instead? Since there's going to be some Raptors games off days in a row, there's no game on Sunday. How about I live stream during the Raptors 905 game and watch along like I do for the Olympic Games? How about we do that? You guys want a special in-season watch along for 905 versus Valley Suns on the stream live during the game at 2 p.m. instead of the morning stream? It won't be a Sunday report. It won't be anything. It'll be a live watch along of the Raptors versus the Raptors 905 where you can hear me talk, and we'll do the stream and talk on the air. If you guys like that idea, please write in the comments right now if you're listening. Yeah, let's do that, because maybe I'll do that instead, where we'll do a watch along instead of going to actual game, and then we can still watch the game together. How about that? Yeah. Let's see. Seymour saying, "Woo-ha is crazy, is heavy. Woo-ha is heavy. Got you all in check. Woo-ha, yeah, woo-ha." Blackhawk saying, laughing at Seymour, and Smooth saying Charles Oakley was at the game last night, at the Raptors game. I'm sure they honored him and put him on the camera, but you know what? He comes to games so much. This is not his first game this season. He was at the Sacramento game for Vince Carter's retirement of his jersey. And, Monique's got pictures of her with Charles from this year being around at the games. No, it's awesome to see Oakley around. It's awesome to see him around. And it's kind of cool that he came to see the Raptors beat the champs on the court last night. And that's funny. Is like Alvin and Matt put him on TV, and they're like, and Matt's like, what do you think Charles is thinking there, Alvin? He's like, man, you know what Charles is thinking? Charles is thinking all the real shit in his head about the players on the court. Like, he's probably looking at Poeltl and thinking this. He's probably looking at Scotty and thinking this. He's looking at Jason Tatum and thinking this. All real old school mentality thinking is what he's thinking about these things. He may be thinking about look at the way the Raptors offense is working right now. That's such a fun thing to see. Look at that cut. Look at that shot. Look at that. Yeah, that's probably what he's thinking. He's thinking like a coach. He's thinking like a very astute NBA Hall of Fame veteran. Yeah, I call him a Hall of Famer just because he's not really a Hall of Famer, but in my book, he's a Hall of Famer just as a personality and a person that's in the history of the NBA. That's right. Yeah. Blackhawk saying, my wish list, Kasparis, J, Asa, the Ivishevich brothers, Kasparis J and Asa N, Asa Newell. We need another first and round pick. We don't need to get another class like we got this year. It's too much. We can afford to do it this year, but let's not get it twisted. We're not trying to add like 4 or 5 rookies every season. The most we should do in the years to come is like 3 at the most. If not, try and only limit it to 2. If you only have 1, and sometimes in some ways that's a good thing too, because they're really getting the focus of all the ability. And the other thing we have to mention is when you bring in a lot of rookies in rookie class, you're going to have a team that's going to lose like our team has this year, because you have way more guys that have no idea what they're doing and they have a learning curve. Now, we've been lucky. We've had very astute rookies that are advanced for where they're at, like Jamal Shed. But that's what I'm saying. We can't do a rookie class every year where we're bringing in like 5 rookies like we did this year. First of all, the roster won't hold it because it's not big enough. And second, in some ways, we got a really good crop last year. And in some ways, we only need like 1 or 2 picks now. going forward with the rebuild. We don't need super like a whole bunch of them. We don't. We need like a very top high pick in the first round this year, along with 1 second-round pick that fits with what we're already doing. You get too much, it's going to make things too murky. It's going to make things too messed up, is what I'm saying right here. Seymour saying, Scout Abdi Bashir Jr., sure, bucket getter, savior from Minnesota. I'm not going to do another scout right now. You're pushing it. I'm on 15 minutes till 3 hours. I got to get out of here. And I'm only supposed to do one. I only did that one for Bryce extra right there. But I'll do that name at some point, Seymour. You can't do it so late in the draft. I mean, in the stream. You got to do it like almost right away. Because Nako's trying to come in and get those scout of the days right away. And you don't want to let him monopolize it. It's just like a classic card. You got to get in there before him. You got to get him before. Randolph said, Lex, I think we have to give the Raptors credit for winning and stop talking about what the Celtics or Warriors did not do. Our team is showing their growth and strength, especially with the health. Yeah, there's a balance to that, Randolph. I'll agree with that. And that's part of the reason why I was saying the Raptors are showing a surge up in positive things right now. And that's part of like they have momentum. But let's not get it twisted also. Both of these teams are in a low point of their season, the Warriors and the Celtics. But you're right. Give credit where credit is due. And give the Raptors some shine for it. That's right. Blackhawk saying Chris was paramount on energy and rebounding. Yeah, he just wasn't scoring as much last night. He didn't take as many shots. Carlos saying, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people turning on IQ lately. Yeah, whatever. Whatever the flavor of the month is, whatever he who shall not be named on his stupid channel saying, whatever it is, it's all noise and stupid. And in some ways, honestly, Emmanuel Quickley hasn't played enough games in a Raptors jersey for these people to have a educated opinion on what he is or what he isn't for the Raptors. Seriously, he really hasn't. He didn't play a whole super whole lot this season at all. He played more last year, in fact, in some ways, but he got hurt last year too, or he missed games because of a passing in his family. You know, it's stupid. They just got to pick somebody and turn on them. Nako saying Fears, Malak, and Queen is who I want out of the first. Okay, you guys act like this is a shopping list and like we could get a whole bunch of items. There should really only be like 2 or 3 items on there at the most, if not 1 or 2. Honestly, that's normally the way with the Raptors. We get 1 rookie or 2 rookies. We're not going to have 6 or 5 rookies again next year, just so y'all know. If we do, and I'm wrong, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. That's right. There's a heart for Seymour. And another cutoff. Thank you. Mischief is here. Good to see Mischief. And Nako saying, assuming we don't get a top 3 pick. Okay. Mischief saying, I like how the broadcaster gets hyped in the fourth quarter. Drake blocked from commentating in the games. Yahoo. I've been saying Raptors should eat a big salad before the game. Boucher having an espresso before the game. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. I had a big salad this week. Oh, man, it was so big. I put roast beef in it, too. It was like a roast beef salad. It was pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Nako saying playoffs started today, and I were the Celtics. I wouldn't be afraid of the first round. I'd be afraid of Bucks or Knicks, especially if there's no KP. I don't know. You guys are speculating, getting too far ahead. It's in some ways, once again, we got to stay where we are present, but also understand the present moment is not static and stays exactly what it is. It goes up and down. And the Raptors are not going to be at this very, very high that they're on right now for the whole entire rest of the season. But they're not going to be in the very far low of the doldrums of losing around Christmas either. So just have that wisdom when looking and assessing what's going on with the Raptors and stop like, oh, this and this. I can't speculate about the playoffs in that kind of way that far in. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't. Well, there's somebody out there in the woods. I saw you out there in the woods walking around out there. People in the woods. Yeah. Let's see. Nako's saying play. Oh, I already read that. Nins is saying I like that. You guys like the watch along idea? Okay, Gerald. You don't want to go to the game with me, Gerald? It's like I've been waiting. Gerald, you live in Mississauga. It's like, why don't you just come to the game with me on Sunday? Are you like working or something? I don't know. Somebody says like Gerald should come. Or Kareem, you're supposed to come with me too. Trevor's saying yes, let's do it. On Instagram, they have Jason holding a brick and a Brown holding a big L. All right, Nins is asking for the classic card, so I'm going to do it right now. I have not done the classic card. And right now, the classic card isn't really classic because they're the new cards that my niece and nephew gave me for Christmas, and they are not classic. This is going to be a hard one, guys. We'll see how you guys do on this one And this could be a 200-point card real quick. So first person to write it in and get the classic card points real quick. Let's see who can get this. It's not a team card, which just makes it a little bit more difficult. It's a Rising Stars card, so you don't even know their jersey of the team they play for. This is a card from Rising Star. Plus, it's really shiny. It's hard to find it without it reflecting in your eye. Let's see. Can I bring it up closer? Does that help anything? This is you're going to go by face here. You don't even get the clue of the team. It's crazy. Rookie card from last year, I guess. He was a rookie. Who is that? Because anybody who just recognize who this young player is on the Rising Stars. Who is that? It's really tough. That's why I'm saying this is a tough card because you don't get the clue of the team. And in some ways, you're just going by the face. That's all you get is that. Rising Stars number 3. No Googling. Does anybody recognize this player? If you guys don't start making any guesses or get any clues or figure it out, I'll give you a clue. But y'all need to try and figure it out. And then it's just okay, Carlos thinks that it's Marcus Sasser. It's not Marcus Sasser. It's a good guess, though. It does kind of look like him. Kaz is saying that's Keontae George. And you know what? He's right. That is Keontae George of the Utah Jazz. That's right. That is a tough one. Without that having anything else on there. Yeah, you're right, Kaz. It is Keontae George. You got it. I know you haven't got many classic cards. Well, you got I think this is your second one you've gotten. So you got it, man. Keontae George, I'm giving you 200 for it because that is a little bit more difficult with not having the name on there. So pretty good stuff. Keontae George is the card, and Cass getting the card. Cass, you've done well with the more recent cards, but 200 for that one. Boom. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Good job on the classic card there. Yeah. Yeah, you were not expecting to be right, but you'll take it. That's what they say. Listen, when you're taking a test or you're doing anything like where you have an initial impulse, your initial response or idea is right. So trust your instincts, trust yourself. And that's one of these things. He took an intelligent guess, and it worked out because it was right. That's what I'm saying. Trust your gut. This is a really good thing if you have to take tests because you're still in school. Is have confidence and really listen to the first thing it says. And sometimes we have the thing where we're like, oh, that's not right, and then you go and look at other ones, and then you pick the second one, and it's wrong, and it was the first one. So trust your gut and go with your first initial instinct. That's what I'm saying. Nako, you're saying you would go to the 905 game? Well, why haven't you told me that? I've been asking people for weeks now. Who wants to come to the 905 game? Nobody's been telling me they want to go, and now you're telling me you want to go. I think we're going to do the watch along. And just keep things simple. I don't want to get all the way across driving down the 401, even though it's easier on a Sunday afternoon. Maybe just not have the hassle. The one thing that will depend on this is Sue. If Sue tells me she's already planned that she wants to go to this game, then I'll go because I promised I'd go if other people want to go. But it sounds like a lot of people are kind of like, I'm going to go. So maybe we'll just do the watch along. That'll be the backup plan just in case, just so y'all know. It's still not totally not going to happen, but it's more likely not to at this point. Why are you telling me you're going to go to the 905 game with me now? Happy birthday to Gravis Vasquez, guys. Happy birthday to the Venezuelan Raptor, who was a part of our team in the early Masai years. Somebody that was traded for Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay traded to Sacramento. We got Vasquez coming back to us. Happy birthday, Gravis Vasquez. That's right. He's 34 today, guys. And I'm proud of Gravis and his part in the Raptors' history. He hit some clutch shots. He was a lot of fun on our team, personality-wise, a very fiery player, somebody who played with his heart on his sleeve. So thank you, Mr. Vasquez, for your time served in Raptors jersey, playing for the Raptors in the past. And happy birthday to you, sir, today, is what I say to Gravis Vasquez. That's right. Don't forget to vote All-Star, y'all, is what Fiercey's saying right now. Good reminder. It is very important right now. Let's do the rundown, and I'll get out of here in the next 7 minutes. There is a game tonight for the 905. They're in Michigan at Grand Rapids playing the Gold, the G League team for the Denver Nuggets. It'll be Jenna Renault, number 77, is the crew chief. Biniam Maru is the referee, number 45, and Caitlin Versosa is the umpire, number 23. And most of the young Raptors are there. The only one that is not there with them is Jamison Battle. and Jamal Shed. The other Jays are there. Jacoby and Jonathan, Ulrich, AJ, and Eugene, they're all going to be there for the 905 tonight. So if you want to see more Ulrich Shamshay and the great development he's having happen right now on the G League level, watch the game tonight. And might even see the Jacoby Walter show tonight. I'll predict that right now. And I want to see some Jacoby Walter. On the other side, I'm looking at their roster. Trey Alexander, Charles Bideyako, Joey Baker, Andrew Funk, Ithiel Horton, PJ Hall, Tevion Jones, Deontay Johnson, Spencer Jones, Gabe McLaughlin, Will Richardson, Jalen Williams, and Jahir Young are the roster for the Grand Rapids Gold. The Raptors beat the Celtics. They're the champs last night, 110-97. Fantastic game where they closed out the game very smart against a very tough, dangerous opponent. Very, very pleased with that game. My 5 stars of the game were RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, Davion Mitchell, and Jamal Shed. Honestly, I could have made the number 1 star of the game, RJ, Jakob, or Davion. Seriously. Honorable mention goes to Chris Boucher and Grady Dick for their contributions also. Real quick, is there anything else I need to do? What's going on the Facebook? Nothing there. Did the birthday just now. Did the classic card. We're good. I think we're good, and we're on our way out. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. Cool Cat saying, whoa, it's still going, Lex. We're excited over our back-to-back dubs. Well, after a game, there's a lot to talk about. Usually a 3-hour stream on reactions happening these days. Like if it's a game that has a lot to it, that needs to be pointed out and kind of gone over, it's been happening it's about 3-hour stream. So the Lexathon is reserved for reactions, but in previews, I won't go 3 hours. No. Only when we have a lot to talk about because we're excited about something in the game, for sure. Coach Coolcat, salute to you. Thank you, everybody. Tristan saying, great stream once again, man. I appreciate that, Tristan. I'm trying to, you know what? It's true. Like, the Raptors are trying to get better and better at what they're doing. It's a waste of time if I don't try and excel and get better and better at what I'm doing on this channel because I'm doing it so much. It'd be stupid. I can't stagnate. I've got to continue to excel and get better as myself. And some of the ways I've talked about them today, and just trying to be more tighter and being less of an asshole. Let's just put it that way. I'll be an asshole in the right places with the right people, but definitely not with the people that have been here for a long, long time. And I realize that I've done that, and I gotta stop. I've got to stop. And it's not a good enough excuse, Lex. You just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or it's not a good enough excuse that their opinion isn't what I think. No, you got to be more respectful, Lex, and treat people right. Is what I'm finding out. And I've failed with some people that are gone already, and I may not get back, but there are people here that I really do not ever want to lose. And Maria is definitely one of them. She's definitely one of them. Yeah. Yeah. Cass is saying W stream, W community, W Raptors. Let's go. Peace out, Lex. Peace out to you guys too. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Tempo. Let's go 905 and beat Grand Rapids Gold tonight. Andrew Jones, I want to see your winning record become more of a winning record with another win tonight. Let's go, y'all. I'll see y'all in the YouTube chat tonight, if not tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Preview for the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's go, Raptors! Woo!